The second I turn the stream on, I look at the chat. I just see... I wrote a letter to the Pope. Fucking hell. Oh, God bless you, Emmanuel. I mean, your second name is Godson. Like, that's actually hilarious. No, I have coffee. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo. I'm trying not to yawn on stream. Painting goo. It's painting goo. Am I allowed to do the Japu shit and the accent when I'm not wearing the costume? Is that like... Is that copyright infringement? I'm gonna get a stern letter from a certain demigod like, how dare you speak Japu in my absence! Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Oh, stretch. Painting goo. It's painting goo. What will we do? Nobody do what we go. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Alright, you little magical monkey fuck. Let's bring it home. Painting goo. 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 Painting goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo goo goo. It's painting fucking goo. It's painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Goo goo goo. Goo 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 goo. I always have to try and not laugh when I do that bit. Just goo 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 goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Right, you know the drill. Pay the monkey so he doesn't go hungry. You filthy, filthy, scummy mortals. I can't, well, like, do I, again, copyright infringement, do I get, like, to say stuff about people being filthy mortal when I'm a filthy mortal? There's so much to change if I'm, like, you know, if I'm doing it as the janitor of Painting Goo instead of a demigod. The demigod. Not just any demigod, like the one and only demigod. We should make that a part of Defenderu like Defenderu's mindset is like he genuinely believes that he's the only demigod to like ever exist, because he used to be a god and now he's like well, even yeah, surely demigods would be aware of each other, and like, you know, gods would be aware that demigods are a thing, you know, because didn't Hera get pissed off at Zeus loads of times for like having a lot of illegitimate children and shit? Like, have you been shagging mortals again, you fucker? You turned into a woman this time, you pervert. Like, apparently Odin did that too. It's all the same, man. It's all the same shit. It's all the same shit from different perspectives and different, like, all it is distance and location. That's all it is distance and location. It's like, like how far away from something or how close to something, and then where that something is. That's all it is. It's usually water. You know? Or bananas. Or fucking salt or something, like, you know, like, pick a resource, pick a water source, pick a location. Do you think when we choose to spawn in here that we get to pick a spot? You know, like we get to pick our stats and like what kind of person we're going to be and shit, like, and then we pick a spot. Like a battle, like Fortnite Battle Royale or something, like, you know. Where are we going to land? Over by the giant truck thingy. I want to be born in a rural logging region. Right, the Japanites are filing in. Top of the day to you, Defenderu. Hope this day is finding you well, happy, and much love. Thank you, Margie. It's like top of the day. Well, I suppose we're known for saying top of the morning to you instead of top of the day. I seriously think mourning is like a weird term. Like, you use mourning for like grief. Mourning's like a grief thing. Like, you mourn the dead, you know? So like if everyone's like, morning, good morning, morning, it's like, what? So you're mourning the death of yesterday's son of God? Is that what it is? Is that the like whole whimsical, mystical, nonsensical, fucking poetry-esque meaning to all this shit, you know? Good morning. Why are we mourning? Who died? The Son of God. The Son of God died. Yeah. When? Yesterday. He's dead. Yeah. But what about that one? He just points up at the sun. Yeah, well, like, the Son of God has returned. I thought he died. Yeah, but that was yesterday. Like, talking to someone like that would be like either really interesting or infuriating. Like, could you imagine if like a bunch of priests came over to a farmer like that? Like, you know, it's like, good morning. What is this? Morning. What are you mourning? Who are we mourning? The Son of God. The Son of God! Like, what happened to the Son of God? He died. What? When? What happened? Jesus Christ, I know! Like, yes, that's what people used to call him. How did he die? He just left. You know? It got darker and darker and darker, and before you knew it, he was gone, you know? And then it was dark. Are you talking about the Son? Aye, the Son of God. God's Son. That's not the Son of God, you fool. That's just the Son. But, like, it's God's Son. God made it. It's the Son of God. You ignorant heathen. That's not the Son of God. He just whips out like a mugshot of Jesus. That's the Son of God. Like, he just happens to have like a scroll of a mugshot of Jesus. How funny would it be if he took it out and it was like a wanted poster with Jesus' face on it? Like, it's just written in like Roman like Greek hieroglyphs or whatever the fuck the Romans spoke Latin, didn't they? Isn't Latin like a form of Greek? I can't remember. Like it's all just like it all starts blending together so much that I'm like, oh fuck, like that's an interesting thought. Like they're all trying to like, get rid of cultures and be like, you're all the same, we're all the same, blah blah blah. What does it mean to be Irish? What does it mean to be German? What does it mean to be European? What does it mean to be American? Like all these things. Like if an Indian moves to like America and has kids, and then those kids have kids, are the grandkids American or are they Indian? Like to me, it's like hilarious how everyone is arguing over like semantics. A lot of it is just like void of any common sense because it doesn't take into account like context or time or nuanced thought. It's like today's society is taking full advantage of how poorly educated people are after poorly educating them. Like, why is everybody so poorly educated? Because you educated them. Shit. We thought it was a good way to get people like, ready to have jobs. Yeah, well, when you prioritize certain things, there's consequences. That seriously did make me giggle. Like, I don't know if anybody heard me right at the, like when I started the stream, the first thing I read was Emmanuel Godson's chat. It just says, I wrote a letter to the Pope. Oh, I love you, Emmanuel. You're a funny fuck. It's so funny, like. Right, Margie Sama, Emmanuel Sama, Stabaru Sama, Desmondu Sama, Griffu Sama, Voodoo Third Reich. How are you, Griff? You well? Intro music sounds so epic. I love the intro tune. I literally like I love doing it, but I actually do love the intro tune. It's like a little fucking like I think it's hilarious that like we should totally have a thing of like so who thinks Milo the monkey is cute and who thinks he's like low key nightmare fuel. like he literally has no eyes. Like, and he's just paralyzed. Like he is kind of cute. His ears are cute. Like he's got a cute little head on him. Like, do you know what I mean? But, like, I mean, he has the torso of like a fucking oak. like not even an oak. He has the torso of like a fucking fish tank or something. Like the dudes. Like people think Big Bear has bitch hips. This monkey has the squarest frame I've ever seen in my life. Oh, one of these days I'm gonna either get somebody to make one, or I'll get good at sculpting and I'll make a really good one, like a mad looking monkey to play the piano, mental looking thing. We'll still call him Milo, obviously. It'll just be like Milo Mark II. Or some shit. Or maybe we won't. Maybe like we'll do the same thing that we did with Little Bitch Bear and like murder him. You'll come on the stream one day and like I doubt the female would let me smash him up. She'd be like, no, what the fuck? Don't you dare. It'd be so funny though. I'd get a cast of him. I'd try and make like a perfect replica of him somehow. I'd have to cast him. And then I'd smash that one, but we'd still have the original. Because it'd just be so funny to start the stream one day and he's just like pulverized and like I play like a fucking a violin soliloquy or some shite. Is that the term where it's like a fucking like an emotional lament to the death of the monkey? and it's in violin, and it's just a piano with a dead monkey. Milo, the monkey, has fallen. He finally regained the sensation in his legs after years of being paralyzed, apart from his wrists and his hands. Oh my god, just like two monkey paws just on the piano. They're the only thing left on the piano is his two monkey paws. The rest of them is like pulverized clay. Like, oh man, that'd be fucking hilarious. That's one of the reasons I love this stream so much. Is like we've like there's like fucking what 10 of us, and just over the last like year or two, we've like developed a whole lore of like Defenderu being a demigod, why he got kicked out of heaven, the monkey fucking like. We really need to flesh out Tobias, Beacus, Croas, and Boris. We really need to flesh them out. Like, eventually, I want it to be like we'll do like little video segments, or like really easily, like I'll do screenshots or something. I don't know, but I want it to be like, right, we're doing the map, and then like Boris does the map. Greetings, Suka. Where are we going? We go. Like, it'd be hilarious. Like, you have a Russian or like a Chechnyan bear, like constantly just like blind drunk, but like he's like a high functioning alcoholic bear. So like, only every so often will you like get the hint that he's like actually fucking mind blowingly drunk all the time. Like, doesn't drink water, only drinks vodka. Like a bear that only drinks vodka. Would be the best thing ever. Greetings, Suka. We have for you a new location. Send location. We just take all the fucking like all the Slavic memes, Russian memes, Chechnyan memes, like roll them all into one bear. Tobias Beacus Croas is obviously Greek. Or will we make him Roman? Or well, he's a bird, so the eagle. We make him Roman, so Tobias is Roman. Let me see. A Roman bird, a Roman crow. Roman Empire was loads, was all over the place, like the British Empire. So you could nearly have him from fucking anywhere. I thought that was like I'm still finishing that episode of Old World Florida where he's talking to Christopher Gardner and he has his younger brother there, and they're talking about the Byzantine Empire, and the younger brother mentions that like people always say that Ireland was never conquered by the Romans, but like they're all Roman Catholic, and then Narco Longo is like, yeah, but there's like a conspiracy or a rumor or like a story. There's a narrative that like they're actually Irish Catholic, and apparently Irish Catholic is like even older than the Roman Catholic. Which like I could see that, because like there's some like really fucking old stone crosses here, and like we had monks here and all that like allegedly got attacked by like Viking longships and stuff. Like a Viking ship or a raiding party would show up, and we have these big things called round towers that had like a ladder going up to a door, and they'd kick the ladder away, or they'd pull they wouldn't kick it away. They'd pull the ladder in, and there would be a door like 13 feet in the air. So like it'd be almost impossible for the Vikings to get even if they brought their own ladder, because they'd still have to get in the door, and it was like a small door, and then the windows were always like at a certain angle, so like the monks could all like get in the tower and defend the round tower, and they're like proper, like they were stone towers. They weren't just like a fucking like you wouldn't be burning anybody out of that thing, like unless you really 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 like you'd have to do it with like oil, and like you'd have to like turn the tower into an oven, and that just wouldn't be efficient. Like, but that would make sense. we've got some ancient shit here that, like I've said before, like, you know, like the Irish culture is like really fucking old, and there is a difference between Irish and Celtic, and like I can imagine a lot of people think that the Irish are like very similar to, like, you know, the Vikings and the Slavs, and like, you know, like obviously even more similar to like the Scots and stuff. But like, and don't get me wrong, there is similarities. The whole, like, you know, Anglo-Saxon influence and shit like that. Like, but like there's a weird thread of Irish that I think we're like the Jews. Like I think there's a chance that there's like there's a few different types of like what people would call a Jew, like Ashkenazi or because we have gypsies. You know, our gypsies are pikeys. Like when you're talking about gypsies, like the trickster type wagon crowd that live outside the cities and travel around the land, the nomadic tribal kind of types. You guys have gypsies, and like a lot of Europe has gypsies, but we have pikeys, and they're not this like they're not the and there's sometimes they're still called gypsies. You know, like My Big Fat Gypsy Wedding was like a TV show and all. Like to us they're pikeys. And if you've ever seen the movie Snatch, like, you know what I'm talking about, where like they just live, instead of wagons they live in caravans, which is like, you know, just a modern version of a fucking wagon. Like it's a home on wheels, like, that you can pull with a car or a horse. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it'd be fucking hilarious dragging that around on a fucking horse and cart and all. Like, but anyway, it's like the more I think about it and the more I learn about history and stuff like that, I'm just like, it's very clear to me that there's a strong connection between Egypt, Ireland, and Israel. There is like I wouldn't be surprised if like there's loads of proof that Jesus was Irish. He was from a place called Galilee, or like his Jesus's ancestry or parents or something like were from Galilee or whatever. Even though and he was born in Bethlehem, and like there's a place in Ireland called Galway, but like if you just looked at the, you know, you could say it Galway because it's the Gaelic, the Gals, the Gauls, you know. There's just this, like, it's like this Star Wars, like Star Wars seems to have like a ton of gravy in it to me now, where it's like, so you have the Jedi, which is really close to the Magi. The Magi were like an order that defended the pharaohs and the mystics and stuff like that. They were like the CIA of like old world Egypt. The Magi. You see that in the movie The Mummy, where like the Magi are these like dark riders that show up and they defend the holy spots. They defend the history, or either that or they keep it hidden, which sometimes means you have to do both. You know, it's really interesting how like when you delve into all this truth or shit, like you end up. I can see myself coming out the other side of it, being like, I totally get it now. I completely understand how we got here, why things are the way they are, and what part of the cycle we're in of like empires rising and falling and the priest class like manipulating everything and so on and so forth. Like, you know, there's a bit of gravy like that in Dune as well, in Dune 2, with the fucking is it the Benny Jesuits or something, whatever they're called. The female priest class are like deciding um who to like put towards as like the next king or ruler, and like they full on like they have like women that go and seduce the warrior, to make damn sure that his seed survives, because they look at the gene pool and they're like, no, that guy needs to, his seed needs to live on because the bloodline needs to be like this, and because his father was this and his father was that before him and all this shit. Like, so like when you look at the old world shit and they cut down all the big trees, and like you look at, you know, the tree of life, and like we used to bury each other, like we used to bury our loved ones under the tree, which was our family tree, and then you would drink the tea from the leaves, and then you would like have like your ancestors could live on through you. It's like use, like, is that why mushrooms affect us in that way when we take them? Because there's like something about humans that is similar to fungus and like parasites and like a network. Like, do we have telepathy? We just don't know how to use it. We don't know how to activate it. Like, do you know what I mean? Is that what it used to be, where like you would drink a tea and you could talk to your grandfather in a dream state, you know? And like that's how you knew that like death was not the end, because like you could like interact with the other frequencies by doing these rituals of like, drink this tea from this leaf from your family tree and all this shit. Like, it like, I know loads of people out there, like people would refer to them as normies or something, like, but now I would just refer to them as the ignorant, which sounds bad, but it's very accurate, like, because I'm still ignorant. We're all ignorant, you know. We are, like, to so much. We know so little. Like, we know fuck all. Like, we're like picking up pieces of a puzzle that we have no idea what the whole thing looks like. So every time you pick up a piece, you're like, well, I don't know where this goes. But slowly over time, like, you start to like put like a section on the right hand corner and a section in the middle and a section on the like the bottom middle, and like slowly over time you're like, oh, I'm starting to see like an overall landscape here of like where we come from, why we come from, where we come from, how we got here, how everything works. The whole thing with the box saga seems to like, that really resonates with my mental map of what happened, where like you have these incredibly resilient human beings who came from the snow, or like the ice. They came from the icelands, and like that makes a ton of sense that they would be like really big and really intelligent and really like dangerous and all this shit, like, you know, because like with intellect comes the ability to be very effective, and that like allows for danger as well. Like why are serial killers like quite often or typically like really highly intelligent? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like a lot of this shit makes total sense to me now. Like recently on a stream I was talking about like how, did you ever think about like the biggest baddest bear comes from the ice? That's really interesting. You know, like, because you would think that in order to survive in a blizzard ridden like wilderness where it's like incredibly cold, food is like, you know, hard to come by, and um the nature of like the landscape is like just inherently hazardous, where like you have like glaciers and icebergs and like freezing water, and like when you're in the water, like everything in the water is dangerous. You know, you have like leopard seals and sharks and fucking orcas and like huge, massive, like masses of ice clashing and floating around and stuff, and these landscapes of like, you know, like you could be walking over a cliffside and you wouldn't even know because you're on ice, and then all of a sudden it just gives way and you just like tumble into an abyss. That's an incredibly like high level place to live in for an organism. So you would think that when something like a bear or a snow, or like snow leopard, I'd love to like delve more into snow leopards and the difference between them and like other leopards in like a jungle. But I know fuck all. But like I know enough, which is very little, but I know enough about bears to be like, you look at like bears in like the Americas. And don't get me wrong, I've seen some big grizzlies with like, you know, at the foot of a mountain, like where there's like lush greenery and rivers and deer everywhere and bugs and honey on trees and all this shit. Grizzlies do get pretty big, But like polar bears are apparently like significantly larger, significantly more aggressive, and significantly more like, I don't know if intelligent is the right word, but they're more creative in the way that like they're really like intuitive and curious, and that makes sense because they'd have to be to find stuff to kill. But how funny is that? It's like all of this stuff like really does completely annihilate the whole theory of evolution, because based on evolution, how would something slowly over millions and billions of years learn how to survive in a really hazardous environment? That doesn't make any sense. Like if you spawn into a hazardous environment um as something that isn't that as something that isn't equipped for that environment, how do you slowly over time become like really big and really powerful? And maybe, like, I don't know, I mean, like when I think about it, it's like it's a possibility that a breed of bear, you know, millions of years ago or something, when the landscape was different, was like a grizzly or a black bear, and then slowly over time through the process of breeding and the seasons and the environment changing, um they get like paler and bigger, you know, because it's like harder to find, and they get smarter because it's like it's slowly over time got more difficult to find food, but when they found it, it was more than it was more than they needed for a while, because like they'd kill something like a seal, you know, instead of being in a forest and killing something like, you know, a small deer or some shit, like, or eating loads of honey and berries, because that's what bears in like a forest region are known for, is like being omnivores, you know. Whereas like a polar bear can't be like that. It's like there's no fucking flora, typically, no flora. It's just fucking frozen water. So like when he fucking breaks through the ice and grabs a hold of a seal or something, like it takes more carbs, more like, you know, labor, more intellect, but the payoff is greater because now he's got like bones and muscle tissue and blood and all this shit to feed on, instead of like just like naturally occurring sugar or something, you know. It's fascinating to me, and that like lends into my parasite theory, where it's like, well, if that rule does apply, then that means the parasites that you would find in the cold regions would be way more dangerous and sophisticated and bigger than the parasites you find in jungles or forests. And if that's true, then that would make sense that when our species tried to return to the ice, a la fucking, you know, what was it, Richard E. Byrd or whatever that guy's name was, where they did that big military excursion towards the Arctic Wall, and they got there, and allegedly there's some people that say there was like a big battle there and all, and like they lost a lot of stuff, and then he came back, and then he did a few TV interviews talking about how there's like a vast continent there and resources and all this shit. Like what if that's what they came across, was like one, a parasite that fucked up humans and turned them into like something else, and like could take them over, like the Thing or Body Snatchers or something, or did they come across humans that had already been afflicted, like a long lost cousin of ours, you know, because that's already happened. Like you see the Spanish conquistadors going over to the Aztecas in America. It's like, okay, these are humans, but they're different humans. What the fuck, right? And then Richard E. Byrd goes back to the ice with like a military unit and all this resources and shit, and then they come across other humans, but they're like, okay, these are humans, but they're like 10 foot tall, like really fucking dangerous, really intelligent, speak a completely different language. They happen to speak our language. What's going on here? They have flying machines. Like what the fuck? Like that would make a lot of sense, cause like if the like think about it, if the guys that seeded this whole realm long ago was the Boxsaga crowd, Dan and Sven, what if they were like outcasts or adventurers from that species and they seeded this place, found this place and seeded it? And the whole time our timeline, our history has been existing here, which, depending on what we've been lied to about, like could be like a couple of 100 years, couple of 1,000 years, couple of 100,000 years. The whole time they've just still been over there, and like they were already like way ahead of us. So like how far ahead of us are they now? Like is our whole species being playing catch up to not only the hidden hand of our species, a la the fucking like military and CIA and like Area 51 kind of shit, where like public knowledge only goes so far, and so does public tech. So like you now have a situation where like not only are us civilians in this modern world knowingly to a degree being like, okay, well, like we get stuff hidden from us all the time, like, do you know what I mean? So God only knows what they're actually capable of. Could you imagine what the other people are capable of? Like just use your imagination, like be a bit creative, like look at all the videos or look at all the TV shows and movies and books and shit. What if they're like, as far as we're concerned, when we came across their tech and how big they are and how different they look, they're still humanoid. They still look similar to us, but they're like 10 foot tall, covered in fucking nanotech armor with like electromagnetic shielding, and like they're like Superman. Do you know what I mean? They can fly. They can like they don't even need a ship. You know, they're wearing like fluid metal electromagnetically charged armor that like to us looks like, liquid gold or something, like all over their body. It allows them to like fly at blistering speeds. They can like break the sound barrier in an instant. They could just like, and to us, like, would that look like somebody teleporting? Like in fucking Dragon Ball, where it's just like, Pew! And they're gone. And like, a lot of people, like would be like, oh my god, is that a god? Is that, like, are they gods? And it's like, no, they're not gods. They're just way better than us. And could you, like, that'd fuck everything. That would fuck up everything if like most people discovered that. Like, you would have new forms of religion, you would have new forms of cult. A load of people would just commit suicide, like immediately. Like, oh, fuck this, like, like a lot of people, like the stress, that like the collective stress would be insane, you know. And now we're at a stage where something like that could be faked. It doesn't even need to be real. Now we're at a stage where like something like that could be faked. You can see an AI video of one of the golden men, like 10 foot tall golden man spotted in Antarctica. And it just looks like a scene from Superman, like, with like some 10 foot tall golden dude where he just like looks at the camera and then just like takes off, and like the person holding the camera is like, oh my god, did you see that? And like our whole population would be like, oh fuck. And then people would start arguing about it, and then Russia and China and America would be arguing over like who's going to fucking blah blah blah. And then you'd have people talking about unification. This is why we all need to be unified. This is why we need to like be under one flag, one human, race against these things, because they're gonna like annihilate us and all this shit. Like, and it'd probably all be bollocks, but all be true at the same time, because there's bound to be members of their society that want nothing more than to either help us or learn more about us or find us fascinating or want to teach us their ways and give us their tech and all of that's probably already happened in secret, You know, all of that has probably already happened in secret, where it's like every few years or months, it's like, okay, we're going to give you this new tech. Why? Well, because the guys that want you all dead are like making new shit. like, like I think about this shit quite a lot. Do you know what I mean? Where like it's very conceivable. Like everything I said is very conceivable. Everything I said is very possible. It's not woo woo. It's not like some cosmological fucking like, Lovecraftian, fantasy or some shit like that. Like, it's very plausible, the stuff I think about. Cuz that's how I try to think. Is like, but what's like fairly probable based on what we already know and based on what we know that we're lied to about? What could happen? What could have happened? What can happen? Like, there's all sorts of shit. Like, I'll tell you one thing though. Like, I don't like even if they were like, you know, as I described them to have like far advanced technology and capabilities and all this stuff, knowledge, everything. If they haven't destroyed, maybe they. Well, I don't know. The more as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, well, maybe there is like a way to completely destroy a realm. Maybe that's why Dan and Sven left the ice, is because they were the only ones left. Like, do you know what I mean? Maybe they weren't like escaping. Maybe they weren't exiled or something. Like, do you know what I mean? Maybe they weren't adventurers. What if they were like the last surviving remnants, as far as they were concerned? Like they were like the people of the ice's version of Noah. Where it's like, fuck, we've only got a few people left. Like, we have to like find somewhere to live or some shit. But when I think about it, I'm like, well, why? If you're that like capable, if you're like used to living in the ice, and then you find this place, and it's like warmer and all this shit, like I've said this before though, I think it's possible that like the realm is like so like the greater realm is so vast that like there's times where like there's huge sections of it are like 100, like minus 100 degrees Celsius, and only the most advanced organisms could survive in such an environment for long periods of time. And then there's this like focal point of like where living is like really easy, and that's where it's all warm and shit, like, and that's what the ancient cultures and us like refer to as Eden, where like what if it's not Eden, it's like easy mode, and then like normal mode is like living in the ice that we know about, or living underwater like Atlantis style. Like what if the most what if normal mode is living in the ice and being okay with the cold, being able to live in the cold and all, and then what if hard mode is like living underwater, you know? And like the Atlanteans were like so advanced, even more advanced than the ice people, that like they got to the point where they had the tech to like live under, like at the depths of the ocean. So like if you think living in an Arctic region is difficult, where there's like practically no food sources on the level on ground level, you either have to get something from the water or below the ice, or you need to find like one of the few animals or what, like, and everything's white, so like it'd be really hard to see and shit. So like you need to be pretty advanced as an organism to survive in that Arctic region. Could you imagine how advanced you'd have to be to live at the depths of the ocean with all that pressure and the like, and if you're a mammal and you don't have gills, like how long you'd have to be able to hold your breath for, and like in case you got out in the water. Mad shit, like. And like, what if there's people that live in like a completely different region where like the temperatures are like insanely hot, you know? Like it'd be like living on the sun or something like where and like maybe that's the divine realm is like the sun, where like you eventually get to a state of like being able to survive in because isn't there like organisms like that Chris Gardner has spoken about before, where there's like organisms that show up randomly in like the stuff he's burning for biochar and all, where there's like these tiny little organisms that will show up in an environment where like everything else is being annihilated by how high the temperature is. Like that's some Star Trek shit. Like that's some No Man's Sky Star Trek shit. Like, do you know what I mean? Where it's like there's just like different realms where different species exist, and it's all here. It's not in space, because they keep like for how long, for like decades they've been like, oh, space travel and the stars and all this shit. Like what if all of those points of light? What if the sun and the moon and like what if they are just like locations near us? And because of the way this place works and the fact that water, like we know water distorts images, you know, especially at a distance. Like water has this property where it distorts the visual representation of things. So your eyes can be tricked. So what if, because there are waters above as well as below, when you look up, your view of the next like realms, be it the moon or the sun or any one of these stars and locations and shit, like what if they are just like you're looking at another realm, but it is quite a distance away and there's like a shit ton of water between you and it, and also a change in polarity and energetic state. So instead of the way we've been, the information that's been peddled to us of like, oh, you'd need to build like a flying machine to go there. And instead it works like the ancient myths and stuff like that, where you're like, well, if I want to go there, frequency is location, so all I have to do is change my frequency. If I can somehow change my frequency, I'd end up like, boom, there. If I know the frequency of that location, like, which is why like something like teleportation would be so dangerous, because if you didn't know what you were doing, you'd end up in a wall or a floor or like the sky with no wings, like, do you know what I mean? And you would just be dead. Like, you would teleport yourself to death instead of teleporting yourself to a new location. Like, this stuff fascinates me. Can you tell? Like, can you tell that my mind is like swimming with like what the fuck is going on with this place, and like what are these things actually like? You got a new phone, Griff? You having problems with it? You fucking boomer. Don't know how to use a phone. Gandalf, what do you mean, good morning? Yeah, did Gandalf say that? No way. That's hilarious. I'm like a weird, like, Gnostic, retard. Where, like, I'm so into all of this stuff that like I like watch shit and read shit and fucking like look at things and all this, and like some of the stuff I've painted and some of the stuff I've like drawn and stuff. It's weird. Like I know I'm connected to like something, but I don't know what it is, and I keep just following it around like it's like I'm playing Zelda and I'm like following Navi, like, listen, and you're like, okay. And you just start following this little green ball of light everywhere, and you're like, oh, look, a sword. Oh, look, a shield. Oh, look, a bow. Oh, bad guys. Oh, it's like, thankfully that hasn't happened yet. I haven't gone for a walk and come across 3 werewolves that I have to slay with a silver stake. It's like, talk about being thrown in the deep end. Could you imagine if, like, one day you just got dropped into the realm of, like, yeah, welcome to, like, monster hunting, like, should it be? It's like, you're now aware of this realm, so now this realm is going to come try and kill you, like, because that's how it works in the criminal world, where like if people now know that there's like an up and coming like competitor, You know, like that's why it's so hard to get out of the criminal realm, because like the nature of competition is you make enemies, because those who don't like competition and they like monopoly and they like being able to capitalize indefinitely off something or some shit like that. I was thinking that earlier, where like there is this like, that's what I think, it's a hive mind, like a Borg or something, like, you know, like the swarm, like your man Shiva talks about, where it's like, and again, that's why I think it's something to do with parasites. Um, like it could be simple as that. Like it might not even need to be like a specific species of parasite that's like really sophisticated. But like I would put my money on it being that. But like it could just be like a threshold where if you get a certain amount of parasites in you, you lose your free will or something, and now you're just run by sin. And like, is that what the Bible's about and all, where it's like you can't do these things and you shouldn't do these things because these things lead to sin, and sin leads to like degeneration and filth and dirt and all, and that exposes you to parasites. And if you get a certain amount of parasites in you, like, you know, you're going to be run by your desires and your parasitical you know, your fucking instincts, but they're not really your instincts. They're like, you know, your base primal desires now or something, like, and they're not even yours. They're the things that are in you, and that makes sense. Like if, like, you know, Jesus type figures, teachers, these like Gnostic teachers over the years were like, look, you need to like fast for like at least a few days, like no food, no water. It's like, but I'll die. No, trust me, you won't die. Like, the reason you think you will die is because the things in you need food and water. Like, what if you like we've been lied to about everything, yeah? Well, like we've been told that if you go a certain amount of time without food and water, you'll die. But like, what if it, like, that's true? Is like, if you go too long without food and water, you will die. But 5, 6 days, a week, like what if you could go 7 days with no food and water, and then like every parasite in you is just gone, like all of them is just gone, and then like you start off real small with just like some water, and it has to be clean water, you know, and then you start off with something like, you know, food you grew yourself, so that you like, you know, it's like, okay, there's nothing in this, like, but at this stage, you know, all the breeding of seeds and all this shit, like God only knows. It's like we're in an environment now that like almost guarantees that you have some kind of like demonic negative like parasitic influence, or like you're connected to the hive somehow, in some way, by something, no matter what you do. So like maybe the best way to exist in this environment is to be in the hive but not of it. You know, like you're like, you can't escape it. There's no running, like, do you know what I mean? So like you have to just exist within it, and know that it's part of you as well. But like that's what makes people like us like stronger than other people, because we still have our free will in an environment where free will is very rare now, you know. Fascinating shit. Like, what does it mean to be Canadian? Well, you'd fucking know, wouldn't you? Like, shouldn't you be telling us? You're American if you vote, drive a truck, shoot a gun, drink beer, and support the state of Israel. Um, dot cl. No, because the TV said so. Yeah, that's crazy now that they're talking about like, what's the story over there in America? Like, have they passed that bill yet? Where like you'll get what's the term? You'll get deported if you criticize Israel or something. Mad shit. Fucking mad shit. Like how fucked is that? That, like, could you imagine if you got deported from Ireland for criticizing Uganda? Like, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean? Like, get out. Why? because you spoke ill of the people we like. Jesus, like this fucking like, it really is a big club and we're not in it. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like one of us, one of us. If you're not one of us, we fucking hate you and we want you gone. And it's like Jesus Christ, like intense. Like we don't even feel. Typically, we don't like. We try not to feel like that about others. Where it's like, look, I really don't agree with like your lifestyle and your opinions and shit like that. Like, but like as long as you don't cross certain thresholds, then we can live in harmony. Like you and I. Like, do you know what I mean? And then obviously the thresholds being like if they're like a fucking pedophile or like a lunatic criminal or a really malevolently manipulative person or some shit like that. Like, but it's other than that, it's like you could be like very different in like loads of different ways, but fundamentally it's like what Vox says. It's like, look, as long as you're not a baby eater, like I think there's some common ground we could achieve and like work together. Like you guys like spices, we like sea salt. I mean, there's got to be something like it's pissing rain now. Like part of me really likes it when it like rains. Like a heavy rain. I'm not a fan of like the pissy little rain that's like a mist and like you're out in it for a few minutes and you get soaking wet and you're just like, oh fuck's sake. But when it like fucking lashes rain, I'm like, yeah, this is deadly. I love it. I'd love to like just like have a fire and like an open plan, like a balcony in a back garden looking out into a lake or something, like, and it's like, or even just here, like, if I just had like a wooden deck up in the back garden with like some kind of canopy and I'd like just chill out there and work out and shit, like, it'd be so cool. I was thinking about it. It's like typically the only reason I don't work out when it's like piss and rain is because like the whole thing of having to deal with like wet clothes and shit can just be such a fucking, like, when you already have a um what's the term, when you already have a backlog of washing, because like I sweat a lot, like it takes me like 10-15 minutes to fucking like completely sweat through a t-shirt when I'm doing like my qigong or like if I work out or some shit like that. Like sometimes I go through three t-shirts in a day because like I'll get up and do something and I'll like sweat a ton and I'm like, right, that's that t-shirt gone, put a new one on, like, do you know what I mean? And like you don't want to have like you fucking like, why would you even bother having like multiple showers a day, like, do you know what I mean? It's like you do all the stuff and then you have a shower at the end of the day, like, and I don't believe in cleaning yourself like too much. I think like it's like everything else, there's like a positive and negative polarity. Obviously you need to be clean, everybody likes being clean, nobody likes like stinky dirtiness, like, but like there is a like that satanic cleanliness of sterile. You don't want to be sterile, where like you're always cleaning yourself with soap, like fastidiously and like fucking like obsessively and shit. Like it's like, oh god, I'm dirty, I need to be clean, need to be clean. You're like scrubbing yourself raw with a fucking wire brush. Like there's people, like a lot of people are like that now, especially after COVID. Like where they're like too clean, where they don't have a healthy biome. It's like your gut. Your skin's like your gut in that sense, where like it needs to have like a layer of like natural oils and stuff and all, like. And sure, there's bugs living all over you, like, I remember seeing a documentary before where they zoom in on the tiny little like dust particles and shit, like on your eyebrows and your eyelashes and stuff. And when you wake up in the morning and you've got like gunk in your eye and shit, like you have an entire ecosystem on your skin. Like you're like the hairs on your forearm and shit are home to like all sorts of like microscopic organisms and shit. Like it's all fractal, you know. Like what you could describe, life on Earth as like all of these like the same way that there's loads of different shit that lives on a tree. You extrapolate upon that, and it's like if the whole realm is like an organism and just has smaller organisms living on it, you know? Because, like, you have those myths where it's like we live on the back of a turtle and all this fucking shit. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's very similar to the ending of Men in Black, where, like, if you zoom all the way out, we're in a bubble, and that bubble is, like, in an ocean surrounded by other bubbles. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, and that would be, like, terrifying to some people when we're like, so you're telling me that, like, at any given moment our entire existence could just end? It's like, no, you know, it's not actually like the ocean where, like, you know, the ocean we know of, but it's like that where, like, if you were to zoom out, we exist in a sphere of some form of liquid, and, like, maybe that's why the globe spell works so well, because part of our subconscious mind is like, no, yeah, there are, like, perfect spheres, there are, like, bubbles and balls and stuff like that in, like, you know, like, look at the sun, look at the moon, they're perfect spheres. Look at the, like, there's some flowers and plants and stuff, and like a bubble in water that, like, are like a fractal of, like, there is like, is that the only known form of perfection, is, like, a naturally occurring sphere, and the only reason naturally occurring spheres naturally occur is because God designed this place in a sphere, in a bubble of, like, some kind of, like, you know, cosmic fluid. Like, what if our realm is the equivalent of a single sperm in a in, like, a load? You know, like, 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 we're all in a big thing of cum. Like, that's, like, I love having conversations like this and talking to people about shit like this and, like, bouncing ideas off people, and, like, there'd be people that just look at you like you're a fucking lunatic, and I'd be like, what, you don't, like, fair enough. You know, you don't think, do you? Like, like, hey, Ian Gannon, what's up? Corvus Romanicus. Well, obviously we're not going to change his name, but that's, yeah, that's the vibe, you know. Tobias Becus Crous. So we could be like, son of Corvus Romanicus. I present to you Tobias Becus Crous, son of Corvus, son of Becus. You know, like, fucking, like, that's why he's called Tobias Becus. We could call him Tobias Becus Corvus, because those were his father and his grandfather. Was like, his father was well, his father was Becus and his grandfather was Corvus. That'd be fucking brilliant. The lineage of birdies. Like, he's a fine crow. His father was a fine crow, and his father before him was an even finer crow. They have the finest feathers of crows. Like, a bald eagle was fighting off a murder of crows this morning on my ride in. The bald eagle almost hit me. I ducked on my bike because I thought they were gonna smoke me. Oh my god, that's intense. Is that prophetic? Is that like a sign? A bald eagle was fighting off a murder of crows. That's intense. That sounds like a biblical sign of like, that sounds like someone. That's like, you sound like someone in a story that's like, you know, like if I'm the king, because it's my stream, and, like, you turn around to me and be like, my lord, this morning I saw a bald eagle fighting off a murder of crows. The Russians will attack at dawn. like, didn't the Chinese invade Taiwan? Isn't that a rumor going around now that the Chinese have invaded Taiwan? That it's, like, going ahead or something, like, or they're preparing to invade Taiwan? Mad shit. Hey, Iron Man Bear. You've got company, Margie. Kind of company. The cozy existence of panda bears proves that good times make weak bears. Yeah, and that's why I love talking about this shit and thinking about this shit, because it's like, okay, so if the polar bear is like the biggest baddest bear that we're aware of for the reasons I spoke about, then like that really does like it's like so if your existence is really comfortable and easy, relatively speaking, like, you know, then like the guy whose existence is like really difficult, and like I wonder, like I think I'm probably wrong about this, like, or there might be like this might be mostly wrong, but I think I remember hearing on a documentary that polar bears, the reason why there's not that many of them is because a lot of them don't live that long, because like they end up dying of like hunger or thirst or something, because there's like a certain season where like food is quite scarce, so you see a lot of polar bears who are like underweight and shit, and like only like the alpha chads who can like survive that time of the year make it to the next year or some shit like that. I think that's like a thing. But that would still make sense. That would like match up with like what I'm talking about, because it's like it really is just like so cool to look at it from that perspective. So it's like, so every environment has a set of predetermined, like, you know, attributes and rules, and like existing in that environment requires these things, and that has an effect on like what kind of organism you have in that environment. Um, what is that noise? It's like a horn going off. Um, it's mad being beside a main road. You hear all sorts of wild shit sometimes. People like the amount of times there's somebody having an argument right outside my house. It's so funny. Like day or night. Doesn't have to be like, you know, a Saturday night after a load of drinking. Like sometimes it's like the middle of the day and like two junkies are fucking like, you know, oh, fucking like it's hilarious. Um, don't forget to like, indeed, listen to the old lady. Do not forget to like the stream, to comment, say something, even if it's like, I hate when he talks this much. I come here for the painting, not for the ranting. You stupid ginger fuck. Like, feel free to like shit on me. Like, you know, like any fucking any publicity's good publicity. I seen that thing, Ricky Gervais, where he's like, "Thank you to everybody who like what tried to get my thing removed off of Netflix and all. Like, you made it the #1 special and all this shit." Like, that's always the Chad move. Like, do you know what I mean? Be like, if you have like, you see that like a load of people like fucking hate you, you're like, good, good. Because if a lot of people hate me, that means that it's only a matter of time for like a lot of people that are not like them will fucking love me. Like, I always loved that saying. That fucking, what was that? I don't know. I don't know if Owen came up with the saying, but I remember the first time he said it. Was it around the Jort Wars? It was the first time I heard him say it. Anyway, I don't think I was around for the Ohio Fire Bear Church thing. Wasn't that one of the big Gammasburgs before? But he turned around and he was like, "You'll get my worst and I'll get your best," and that's such a good like frame to look at it from, and it's so true. Where it's like the people that are on their side will look over and be like, "Do you know what? I kind of like, they look like they're having more fun," and like the people on your side will look at them and be like, "Oh, thank fuck! Like a chance. This is where I jump ship." Do you know what I mean? It's hilarious like that, because it's like, it is, look, a relationship. Like, that's what a relationship is like, we are now on a ship together. We are now on a vessel that is comprised contractually and consensually of our relative like love or hate or want or desire to be around each other and involved with each other. And like what always happens to ships, like you get stowaways and you get rats, and like that's why like you need to like clean. You need to have a janitor for your ship. Like you need to have a fucking a dude whose like sole purpose is to constantly maintain like the in the what would you call it, the spiritual integrity of a ship, to be like, because that's what it is. Like ultimately it's like not just like cleaning it as in like mopping it and making sure that it looks and smells nice. It's also making sure it's like you have to look for pests, infestations, and like, and not all pests are bad, like, do you know what I mean? Because like sometimes it's an opportunity. Like most shit is an opportunity. Even the shit that you really need to take action against, where you're like, we need to get this the fuck out of here, because like if we don't, then it's going to end up really bad. Like we'll have a hole in the ship, if we don't do something about this, and then everybody's fucked. Even in that scenario, it's like an opportunity to discover how well you all work together in a crisis. That kind of thing, where it's like, instead of looking at it of like something to panic about, like it's just all about not having fear. It's all about like not having a fear response. That's all it is. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, just do not be afraid. Like, like approach every situation with confidence, not arrogance. Faith, not blind belief. Faith. I think it's funny. I think you need to know a certain fundamental truth before you can actually have faith, because otherwise it is just blind belief then. Because if you're just like, oh yeah, totally, yeah, potatoes are God, no, I'm with you, brother, I'm with you, potatoes are God, I'm totally there, that's bullshit. But if you all look each other in the eye, and you're all like, in a circle of like agreement, of like, okay, so the pen is blue, Dave, John, Tim, yeah, we're all in agreement. The pen is blue, and everyone's like, yeah, blue pen, yeah, okay, the pen is blue. Okay, cool. Like it's like, we can do this. Like, it's like there is an objective reality. That's not a belief. That's a revelation. That's a realization. It's like this is like we're sharing this thing. Sharing is caring. How funny is that? It's like, that is really true. Sharing is caring. You need to realize that you are sharing your environment with things that like fucking hate you and want you dead, but you cannot get rid of them. They're always going to be there. Like, you need to learn how to manage them. And it's not even about managing them. You need to learn how to manage yourself. It's like that ultimate leveling up of like, you cannot kill all the pests. You can kill all the pests in your vicinity, in your jurisdiction. Your home, your back garden, your ship. You can kill all the pests in your ship, and you should, because you should keep a clean ship, because cleanliness is next to godliness. Where it's like, you want a beautiful, almost seamless ship that like is like strong and well made, and like well kept, and like all these things, like and keeping it isn't just a duty, it's like necessary. Like, is that like, because people think a duty is like a noble thing, yeah, and like, sure, it's like you could describe a duty as like a noble thing, but it's like, is being noble like just realizing what's necessary and then doing what's necessary? Is that what being noble is? Is being like, because like noble probably has like, what's noble in alchemical terms? I've heard of that. I've heard of like, there's a term in alchemy where like, if something is noble, it has certain characteristics or something. And I wonder if that's what it is, where it's like you simply accept the truth of the moment and you realize, or something is revealed to you, a truth is revealed to you of a particular moment where you're like, okay, in order to survive, in order to complete my current objective, in order to keep people safe, I must do X. And then you do it, and like that's what being noble is. You know? Fascinating shit. Hey Pruner, are we talking about the Jews again? I'm pretty sure I mentioned them at some point. But we're talking about, like, I'm just being really existential right now. Like, the past like hour and 15 minutes, I've gone on a massive rant about the stuff I think about quite regularly. All of it. Very true, Iron Man. And don't forget to pay. Indeed! Pay for painting goo if you have any honor. It's worth it. Make you feel better. If you pay for painting goo, you maintain your honor. It's honorable to pay for painting goo. If you do not pay for painting goo, you're not maintaining your honor. Who hasn't paid for painting goo in a while? Should I start keeping a list? I think that'd be kind of fun. I know there's people out there that would be like, look at him, he's like psychologically manipulating his audience, but like I think it'd be fun to be like able to turn around and be like, Griffo-sama hasn't paid for painting goo in 4 weeks. Look, and then like have a visual represent. I said this before where I was going to like have a bar where like you would show like how high or how low your honor currently is, and like people would be ashamed that like I show them. I'd be like, look, here's your honor. It's all the way down here. Your honor is on the floor, you fucking filthy mortal scum. Shame. Is that the thing that like that Owen just like clued into, is like people don't have enough shame these days, so he's just gonna shame everyone to fucking like, aren't you embarrassed? Aren't you embarrassed? Look at you. I couldn't stop laughing the first time he did that. I was like, who's that? I've never heard of that guy. It's so funny. Look at you. You're covered in stains. You can't even wash yourself. You goddamn filthy, scummy mortal. Look at you. Aren't you embarrassed? Such a funny thing. The Church of the Bees. Be in the hive, not of it. And I had a thought there the other day where the term to behave yourself, like when you tell children to behave, is really, really close to beehive. I know it's a little bit of a stretch, but like when you like just think about it for 2 minutes, and like if you've done any of the etymology, or like, and I'm not saying I have, I've read a few things and watched a few things, that's it, but like they're really close to behave and a beehive. Behave. And what is behaving? Behaving is adhering to the like, you know, the agreed upon construct of social rules that we have in any relative given moment. Like, you know, somebody would be like, oh my god, Austin Powers, oh behave. That was a big one. Oh behave. Austin Powers. Beehive. Hive mind. All these streamers have their fucking, like so many streamers have hexagons in the background because of them hexagon lights, and it's like a thing where like all these streamers have these like well lit backgrounds with hexagons in them and shit, and like fucking Shiva calls them the Swarm, and like the Borg from Star Trek. We are the Borg. Man, like I like is that a demon? Is that a spirit? You know? And like what is a demon? What is a spirit? Like is it a frequency? Is it like like a specific it's like an IP address to a certain form of energy, you know? Like that's all these things are, aren't they? It's just like they're expressions and illustrations and like creative visualizations of something that we cannot see. How do you explain the unseen? How do you communicate about and with like the unseen forces? Like language and all this shit, like, you know what I mean? Like if somebody can draw, like, it's like, man, the angles, angels, like angels are angles, good angles and bad angles, good angels and bad angels. Like Christopher Gardner has spoken about that shit before, where it's like if you live in a box, you have corners, and insects, um, not degenerators, cleaners. They're the cleaners of things, like at the same time, because like they'll eat bugs and stuff, but like bugs like gather in corners. They gather in these like what are they called vertices and shit like this. Like if you have a corner, you're gonna have bugs. You're gonna have like a buildup of something because there's no flow. It all just goes to a point. It doesn't flow. The energy doesn't flow. It just goes like boom. It just stops. So if you live in a dome, that doesn't happen, or at least not as much. And like that's what feng shui is about, isn't it? Isn't that what feng shui is? Like the energy flow in a room, and like I look around my room and it's all rectangles and squares. It's all rectangles and squares. The door to the attic, the window there, looking out to the stairs, window there, the windowsill, the desk, my phone, the PEINTEINGU, the palette, the drawers I have my paints on, the map. The only thing that's not a fucking square is the gong. Like obviously the bear and the crow, like the thing I'm drinking out of. It's crazy. It's crazy how our environment is full of like the same shape or the same few shapes, pyramids, squares. You got like triangles, squares, rectangles and stuff, like, and it's all the same shit, like. And I'm starting to, like, I have noticed that these days there's a ton of hexagons. Ton of hexagons. And a hive mind mentality. People acting like a hive, people acting like a swarm. And like that is a dangerous thing. To kick a hornet's nest is a dangerous thing. If you're just one man and you go up and you just kick a beehive, you'll probably live, but like, man, you're gonna get stung. Like, it's gonna hurt. Like, you kick a hornet's nest, you might not live through that. Like, you know what I mean? Like some hornet. A hornet's net, like a hornet, like a net where you catch a lot of whores with a net. Man, wordplay is fascinating. Like, it really is. Like, anyway, just behave and you won't get stung. Yeah, man, I think there's something there. I'm pretty sure I'm onto something. Obviously, I know I'm not, like, I don't think I'm some sort of mystic. I don't think I'm like really intelligent or anything, like, but I'm onto something. I can see it. I have a good enough pattern recognition from years of playing video games and drawing and looking at stuff and all and watching movies and TV shows and all this shit. Like, my pattern recognition's pretty good, but it's not. It's a different kind of pattern recognition to like somebody like Owen, because I'm not musical. I'm visual. I literally do see stuff and I'm like, huh. I won't hear, like, sometimes I'm getting good at it. I'm getting good at hearing stuff and being like, that sounds a bit off. how they phrase that, or like the fact that they're using that song while they're using that imagery and they have that playing in the background. That's pretty weird. But I'm way better at like looking at stuff and being like, huh, that's weird, you know. And like you can do that in your mind, like you can like picture shit in your mind and all, like, and be like, huh, you know, when you turn that symbol upside down, it kind of looks like this and all. Like, it's fascinating, man. I know I'm onto something. There's something there. Like, I don't, you know, I'm not saying like, you know, I'm right, I called it or whatever, but like, I'm fucking, there is some truth in the shit that I'm thinking about. I can feel it. I can fucking feel it, that like there's some kind of thread that I'm kind of gently tugging on now and again, where I'm like, huh, behavior of parasites and beehives and swarms, and it does kind of seem like people are acting in unison, and you want all these like politicians and global entities that are like, we need to be one and stuff like that, and like what if what we're dealing with is like, so you have another group of humanoids who live in the ice who are like altruistically trying to help us because we're being preyed upon by the negative version of them, where like they're like, you know, these like golden god, like, you know, highly advanced humanoids who are very benevolent and like caring and all this stuff, typically, but like some of them can be like, you know, fucked up and like insanely arrogant and like crazy and shit. And then you have the other crowd, which are typically like a Borg or like a swarm, like a hive mind, but they're just as like technologically advanced as the golden dudes, and they're like fighting over this territory for a certain resource. And what if the resource is us? You know, what if we've become a resource, or what if like something that's here is like a resource or something? Like, I don't know, like, you know, like it would make perfect sense that like you don't want to just have like an all-out war, because that wouldn't be smart. Takes a lot of resources and power, and a lot of people will die, and like so on and so forth, and then like it'll only get more difficult, because then we'll realize what's going on and we'll kick up a fuss, and even if we're not exactly a threat, like we still have to be dealt with. And like they could probably kill like vast amounts of us like in a few moments, but in order to do that would take an incredible amount of energy, no matter what way you look at it. Like, you know, in order to do something at that scale with any kind of tech would take like a high form of advanced technology and knowledge, which in itself requires like energy and stuff like that. So like it would make sense that they were like, you know, well, we could just like vaporize all of Africa, but like it's not practical, you know. Because like even we can do stuff like that. Like, sure, like I don't think we can destroy the realm with like whatever the fuck nukes are. But fuck me, we could probably like you know, if you had enough huge bombs, like even if you didn't like, right, you don't like take nukes out of the equation and you just use something like the mother of all bombs, like the Moab. Like they've shown that on television and all, like, you know. And like maybe the footage that they used in in the Discovery Channel when I was growing up, maybe that was fake too. It didn't look fake. It looked pretty fucking real. Where like, you know, they launch a thing out of a plane, and then the camera follows it down, and then a massive explosion takes place. But you could fake that. You know, you could fake that. But like, the fact remains is that it's obvious that like explosions do happen and bombs do exist, and like big ones exist and big ones are possible. So like if you even got like a fleet of like, what, I don't know, like fucking 500 planes or jets or something, and you what's the term I'm looking for, you created an efficient spread pattern of like the highest yield weaponry we currently have, like you could probably like level most of At least someplace like Germany. You know, I'm thinking like how big are certain places? Like Africa's huge. Like, do you know what I mean? So like, if I'm being if I'm not being generous, if I'm being conservative with my estimates, you could more than likely like at least like completely level a country like Germany, like a big portion of Europe. You could just like make it a wasteland in like an hour or so, you know. Wouldn't even take it that long. Wouldn't take as many, but like, and like, think about the amount of munitions and bombs and like jets and all the weapons of war that don't get used. You know, that if you wanted to, you could just be like, all right, let's go, let's do this. I mean, the whole world runs on debt. It's not like they actually need the money to do anything. That's all a joke. If the people with the resources and the power to make those decisions want to do something, then all they have to do really is to like make a good enough pitch to the people above them to be like, I think we need to level Germany. And it's like, what? Why? Why would we waste all that energy on fucking doing something like that? Like, and then you just come up with a really good argument or something, and they're like, oh, now that you think about it, yeah, fucking, here you go, sign the contract, like, you know. Like, that's all this shit is, like. You see fucking Elon and Trump are fighting now? Hilarious. Actually happens a lot here. The eagles take their eggs and the murder protects their nesting grounds. Eagles are cool, but they can be dicks. Eagles take eggs? Interesting. I don't remember that being a thing. Eagles take other things' eggs? For protein? For food, like? That's interesting. It's usually a cross-species thing. It's not usually... Because, like, you see that with, like, you know, like, snakes take things... Like, eat eggs belonging to certain things. Like chickens. Like, a snake will eat your chicken eggs. A fox will eat your chicken eggs. There's loads of different things that'll eat your chicken eggs. But a bird eating another bird's eggs? It's like mildly cannibalistic, even if it is the same species but a different breed. You know? That's the term, isn't it? It's like a species is like the like overall form of organism, and then like the breed of that species. I think I'm right. It might be like, because it's not race like with humans or whatever, which is weird, isn't it? Like, it really is weird. Where it's like, why are we called races? Like, like, you know what I mean? It's like there's different breeds of human, just like there's different breeds of dog. It's like, oh, that's such a. Are you comparing humans to dogs? Well, contextually, why is that a bad thing? Like, if I compare a pencil to a spear, is that somehow wrong? You know, they're both sharp pieces of wood in the form of a shaft. Giggity. You know? Came to hear paint dry, stayed for the esoteric rambling. God damn you, you fucking... You ginger fuck. I came here to listen to paint dry, and you've been talking for 133 minutes and 33 seconds. That was fucking weird. That was fucking weird. Pay for PEINTEINGU. There is, if I remember right from art class, there is 8 lines, or... There is, if I remember right from art class, there is 8 lines, or... What was I talking about? What are you talking about there, Margie? With 8 lines in art class? What's that in reference to? I'm sorry, like I've been rambling like a motherfucker. I'm not sorry. I'm sorry I don't know what you're talking about, so I can't just reply to your comment. But I'm not sorry about the rambling. I'm never sorry about the rambling. Species makes more sense than race. Yeah, you know, like race is definitely one of those word psyop things. Owen's dead right about that, where we're all in a race. We're all being we're being used And not just as cattle. It looks and feels like we're being used by something else. We are being not even subjugated or oppressed. We're being farmed, but it's not just that. We're not just being farmed. We're being like used for various reasons. Like, you know, like the same way we use chickens to cockfight, and the same way we use horses to race and dogs to race, and we bet on it and all. Like the same way we train dolphins for entertainment. All of these things. Like, are we being like controlled by another species or another organism as a form of, like, what if, dude, like, what if I'm right? What if it is a parasite that, like, it's like a really sophisticated parasite, and because it's in a human, so humans are the most conscious, as far as we can tell, yeah? Like, in our environment, to our knowledge, to the extent of our knowledge, we are the most conscious. We talk, we use technology, we do all these things. Dogs don't do that, monkeys don't do that, dolphins don't do that. All this other stuff doesn't do what we do, right? So, the same way that parasite uses the ant to breed in I think it's the Amazon jungle, I'm not sure. Or the same way that other parasite uses the snail to breed. So in the snail, it takes the form of like a pulsating, you know, mutation to the snail's appendages, which draws in birds, and then the bird eats the snail, and the parasite is able to propagate then through that process. And it's the same with the ant thing, but it's like more of it is a parasite, but it's a form of fungal spore. And it's a fungal spore that, like, I think it either lands on the ant or it gets inhaled or something, I'm not sure. And then it takes over the mind of the ant and convinces it to go on a specific day at a specific time, to go to a specific tree and go up to a specific branch, and then wait there while the spore grows out of its head and kills it and becomes another like spore hub, and then like squirts and, like, you know, explodes, sending little spore sperm down to get more ants. So if I'm right, there's a form of one of those things that has infected humans sometime in our history. And if you think of it like fractally expanding, right? So if you have like those forms of parasites, and now you have a form of parasite that gets into a human, but in the process of getting into a human shares the consciousness of the human, like a symbiosis, like the Goa'uld out of Star Trek that I mentioned before, where it's like, okay, the snake in the garden, the serpent, has now entered your spinal column or your nervous system or whatever, and is now sharing your consciousness. It's like looking through you like a TV, and it can feel what you feel. It can it can't control you, but it can influence you. It can like raise or lower your hormone levels, or it can, like, you know, it can like fire certain parts of your nervous system to be like, you're hungry. You know, you need salt. You need this. You need sugar water. You need sugar, more sugar. You need lots of sugar. Like like, you know, you need this, you need that, you know, just like lots of this. Give me lots of this. I want this, like to like an addictive degree, right? And and then if you look at all of our like activities and stuff, like what if it's feeding on the fact that it now has a form of consciousness it didn't have before. You know, like coming in contact with us enlightened or elevated this organism to a new state where it's like, oh, when I'm in a human, I become like a different thing. And like, because they're now conscious to the same degree we are, but they're not in control, they like influence us en masse through various means. And all of it is to like get us to be more them. Man, you could do a movie about this shit. Like, this is like movie quality shit, like. Hey Dick Ford, welcome. 7 lines of creation. First thing I was taught in art after drawing a circle. Oh, the 7 lines of creation. First thing you were taught after drawing a circle. That's interesting. That, so like the major angles or something, is it? Hold on, 7. I'm gonna look that up real quick. 7 lines of creation. Seven lines of... Oh, the first thing that comes up is the 7 lines of symmetry. That's interesting. That's interesting. What are the 7 days of creation? What are the 7 stages of creation? What if I just go images? 7 lines of creation. Is it 7 or was it 8? The 7 principles of creation. Okay. 1. Principle of identity. Clear vision. Mind knows where to take the body to. Principle 1 and 2 typically interact dynamically. 2. Principle of diverse inputs. Right variety of people to make the vision a reality. 3. Principle of give and take action in order to create an agreed plan of the baby steps forward towards the goal. The principle of including love, beauty, truth, goodness, joy, and meaning in our goal. The principle of the growth of the individual in order to support the growth of the whole. Man as center of harmony, the principle of respect for all key stakeholders. The principle of gaining vitality through feedback. That's fascinating. I've never seen this. The symbol for yin and yang is like on this thing. Applied unificationism is what this is. The 7 principles of creation. Applied unificationism. Is this what's happening? Is that like... this is the cult? Because this sounds like a hive mind in a sense. The principle of identity, clear vision. Mind knows where to take the body to. What mind? What body? Whose mind? Whose body? Principle of diverse inputs. Right variety of people to make the vision a reality. Right variety of people to make the vision a reality. That's an interesting like way to word that. The principle of diverse inputs. Diversity is our strength. Diversity and inclusion. Like to include something is similar to input something. The principle of diverse inputs. Right variety of people to make the vision a reality. Right variety of people. Sure, you could argue that you need like an engineer, like a band. You need a guitar player, a drummer, a vocalist. You know, that's the right variety of people to make the vision a reality. Okay, so that's like you need the right sort of people to be able to make a song. The first one's very vague though. Like clear principle of identity, clear vision, mind knows where to take the body to. That's really vague. You know, like, because whose mind and whose body? And then the third one is the principle of give and take action, in brackets, in order to create an agreed plan of the baby steps to forward towards the goal. Okay, well, that doesn't sound like a hive mind, because that implies that implies will of like reciprocation. Principle of give and take action, which is like, you know, I scratch your back, you scratch mine, but like that requires consent and will and like consciousness of like, I'll do this for you if you do this for me. Now that can be dark, you know, because you can con someone and you can be like, well, I'll do this for you if you do this for me, or I'll give you this if you give me that. And like, you don't realize that the thing they want from you is for like a malevolent purpose. Number 4, the principle of including love, beauty, truth, goodness, joy, and meaning in our goal. That sounds good, but that could be interpreted in a very malevolent way, where like, the principle of including love, beauty, truth, goodness, joy, and meaning in our goal. Isn't that how propaganda works? If you appeal to love, you appeal to beauty, you appeal to truth. Like, you know, you put the like, you know, 10 out of 10 ridiculously hot blonde in front of the car if your goal is to sell a car. You know? If you want to sell a lie, you need to put a bit of truth in it. If you want to do something bad, make it look like good. And make sure that you look like you're full of joy when you're doing it. That's why people look so deliriously, retardedly happy when they're like eating a pizza, and it's like, you know, order from Apache now, like, and they're like, oh my god, this pizza's so good, you know, all the fake smiles and shit. Like, I always felt incredibly awkward smiling for a photo when like somebody was just like, okay, smile. I'm like, because the smile, like, and now I'm smiling because I think that's funny. It's like a smile, like a natural smile is like a natural smile, like, do you know what I mean? Whereas like a forced smile is a different kind of smile. I think they can be quite creepy. Like, the principle of the growth of the individual in order to support the growth of the whole. Okay, so that's not necessarily hive mindish, because they use the word individual, but it's to support the whole. But like, you know, like the Tau in Warhammer 40k and stuff like that, where it's like for the greater good. Like, you can have you can have a society like that where every individual consciously and willfully like chooses to be a part of the whole. But that can become corrupt. Like, do you know, I would argue that's kind of what is happening now, where you have all these woke LGBT HDTV fucking lunatics being like, you know, diversity is our strength, inclusion, like, you know, racist, bigot, homophobe, you don't belong in the blah blah blah, you know, censor, kick him off the platform, get rid of him. Your words are offensive and hurtful, so you need to be destroyed, essentially. Like, because like, it may be online and it may be digital, but like when they remove you from the online and the digital, that means like you're essentially destroyed digitally. Your identity is like digitally destroyed. So the fractal expansion of that is that like if they could get away with it in real life, they would have you killed. Cause like they're like, we don't want you around, cause you're not like, you know, a poly demon cucumber fucking lunatic. The principle of gaining vitality through feedback. That's a really interesting one. Gaining vitality through feedback. What is that? Like, Like, that's an interesting. I've never read this. This is fascinating. The Seven Principles of Creation. It's fascinating. Clear vision. Mind knows where the body to take the body to. Right variety of people to make the vision a reality. Principle of give and take in order to create an agreed plan of the baby steps. Principle of including love, beauty, truth, goodness, and the principle of growth of the individual. That's fascinating. Has Owen ever read, like, I read this on stream? If Owen's never like read, surely he has. I mean, he's big into like all of this esoteric shit, like, because it almost feels like he's doing this. The good, the true, the beautiful. But wasn't that a fucking? Didn't he get that from Vox? I can't remember. Baby steps, supporting the individual, rising tide raises all ships, stakeholders. Man as center of the harmony, the principle of respect for all key the principle of respect for all key stakeholders. That's an interesting. These are fascinatingly worded. The way these things are worded are really like subjective and vague in an odd way. Because like you read it initially and you're like, yeah, that makes sense, and then like you kind of step back and look at it and you're kind of like, this could easily be used to like create a cult. The principle of gaining vitality through feedback. That's a really interesting one. What does that mean? Gaining vitality through feedback. Everybody give me feedback. Let's see what happens. Just say. What kind of feedback? What's feedback? You know? Like, is feedback just verbal feedback? Is it like visual feedback? Like you know, like material feedback? Like if I make a, like the principle of gaining vitality through feedback. Like if I put up a painting, like I did today, I released the Heart of the Hive thing. For those of you that don't know, I put it in the Telegram chat, and it's up on my Instagram, and TikTok and Facebook. I put it up everywhere. It's getting a good reception. People think it's impressive, which is good. It would be nice if somebody bought it, but like, you know, I have a weird feeling that like I don't. There's a weird part of me that feels like that one's not meant to be bought, at least yet, or right now, or something. Like the reason I did that painting was to learn lessons, not to make money, or some shit. I have a weird. A weird feeling that's what's going on with that one. Like, that shit's fascinating. Thank you, Margie, for bringing that up. I'd never heard of that. I've never looked at that. Or if I have, I completely forgot, which wouldn't be like, you know, totally out of the realm of possibility, because like that's happened to me a few times where like I've smoked way too much weed in my day. I've come to that conclusion a long time ago where like there's parts of my memory that are just like sitting in a drawer full of dust with a padlock on it. Like I have to like go into the fucking the mental emporium that is the inside of my mind, like, and go up to like a whole library that's just like closed off and like smash all the locks and like pull out all the files and be like, I forgot about all this. Holy shit, like what the fuck, like. Oh man. A sober life is a fucking interesting one when you weren't sober for a lot. Like being sober after not being sober for like over a decade is a fascinating thing. It's almost like remembering who you are in a weird way, you know. And I wonder if it's like that with like other shit, like, you know, like I wouldn't be surprised if I still have like some form of parasites in me from like, you know, eating sugary stuff or something. I don't fucking know. Like, God only knows. Like, you could probably get parasites from eating takeaway food. Like, you know, like, I don't fucking know. I wouldn't be surprised if I still have some parasites in me. Like, Sorry for yawning. Apologies. I am going to put on some funky music because it's Funky Fridays. It's Funky Friday, and I am going to do the Rubik's Cube, and I think it'd be funny if I just put a Q on that, on the ball, and that makes it a cue ball. That's like a really easy, creative solution to that. So just put a Q on the ball. And we'll do a Rubik's Cube. I'm actually going to have to look up Rubik's Cubes, because it was it yellow, blue, red, green, white. Is that it? That can't be it. There's 6 sides to a cube. So there should be 6. Orange, yellow, blue, red, green, white, orange. Is that it? Am I right? Great Oracle Google, tell me. You there, Dubliner, tell me now. 9. You guys don't know about that ad because it's an Irish ad. You missed out on that. Like, I've definitely mentioned this before, but there used to be this ad, and I can't remember what it was for now. Female. I think it was for like I think it was for a shop or something. Like, you remember the ad? Tell me, Dubliner, what time does like blah blah blah? And he's like 9. What was it for? What was the ad for? Was it for? Yeah, was it like DFS or something like? What time does the? Yeah, because it was something sale. What time does the sale start at or something? Wasn't it? Harvey Norman's or something like. It was some kind of business was having like a sale, and they had this ad where it was like, you know, this like really German lad like was like, you know, so tell me, Dubliner, what time does the what time does the blah 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 start at? And he's like 9. Like, it's like, resistance is futile, Dubliner, tell me now. And it's like 9. Like, if you do not tell me, Dubliner, I'll be forced to like. And he's like, I fucking told you twice already. It's 3 times enough. Like, fucking 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock it opens at, right? Do you understand me now or what? Was it? No way. It was DID Electrical. That's hilarious. It was a shop called DID Electrical. They sold like you know, TVs, DVD players, VCRs, computers, like all that shit. Like all the like they. It was mainly entertainment stuff, from what I can remember. Oh no, it's not. No, DID does do everything electrical in like terms of like washing machines and shit like that. It was Curry's that I'm thinking of. There was another company called Curry's PC World or something, and that was like all everything from gaming to TVs to like Dyson fans and shit like that. Like, but then DID Electrical was like even more broad, like all electrical goods that you could like fucking think of. What time does the DID sale begin? 9. What time are they open till? All right. Bread. What's that? Bread, hot dogs, bacon. Bacon sandwich. You're making bread, hot dog, bacon. You're just making me hungry, Margie. Got a 6-hour ride to the West Kootenays after work today. Oh, you're driving somewhere to meet up with the? Is that the bear meetup? I sent you pictures of a Rubik's Cube. Oh, Margie, I love you. You're gas. I sent you the like capital letters. I sent you pictures of a Rubik's Cube. Oh, that's fucking brilliant. Oh. There's the capital letter. I sent you pictures of. Oh, fuck. Oh, my phone's gonna die. I need to do this quick. Alright, hold on. I get the tunes ready. I got a fucking... I opened the Brave browser today, and YouTube was like, it appears you're using an ad blocker. You're not allowed to use ad blocker. No, I just closed the warning. I just exited out of the warning. I didn't, like, pick an option. So I don't know what's going to happen now, but we might have ads again regardless of me using Brave, which would be fucking hilarious, to be quite honest. I wouldn't be surprised if YouTube like is on that on the daily, where they're like constantly in some kind of legal battle with Brave or something, to be like, no, like you can't do that. We have to do ads. You're affecting our income. You can't do that. Oh, squeeze me. Riding to my folks' place in Christina Lake, BC, and then on to Ursa Rio tomorrow. Oh, that's cool. So what's the travel time like total? Is it like 6 hours there and another like how long? That's awesome. You're gonna have a blast, man. It's gonna be so much fun. Tell the big man I said hi. He'd be like, who? What? Like, oh, it's just some ginger lunatic in the community. Don't worry about it. Like, fucking. It's like, and it'd be so funny if you went up to him and you're like, Big Bear, Surrey Delta Bear, great to meet you. Defender Bear says hi, and he's like, what? Like, did what go through? What message? Oh, and okay. Oh no, I have it muted so it doesn't interrupt the stream. What's this? Welcome to the number for voiceover. Oh, it's the recording of the thing. Yeah. Hold on a sec. Okay, yeah, I'll try. I'll bring it up on. How the fuck did you find that? You just googled it, did you? Oh god, it's hilarious. The female found the thing I was on about. I'll try and play it. I should be able to pull this off, because it's just an audio thing. Thank you. You're welcome. You sound so depressed. Alright, here we go. Let me see. Wonder if can I just play it? Reject.
This is a credit offer. Terms and conditions.
Can you guys hear this? Let me know if you can hear this.
Apply.
Right, Dubliner, you will tell me why you have so much interest in the DID electrical bargains.
No interest.
But I have seen the vans, the plasma TVs, the American fridge freezers, the fancy German Bosch washers.
Look, what are you saying?
You can't fool me.
That's not it. That they must have made that. That sounds like it was made after the one we're thinking of, because it's like a continuation of the characters or something. It's DID electrical number 2, Nazi style interrogator. So if we could find the first one. Where's this, like... Search for talent or packages. Yeah, that one clearly has the feel of... They were like, oh, that ad was like really successful. Let's make another one. Because it's like instantly not as funny as the other one. Let me see. You wanted feedback, that's why there is food and the back sign. Oh, right. Sorry, yeah, I got distracted there. You sent it to me on Instagram, did you, Margie? Yeah. Yeah, I was right. Blue, red, yellow, orange, green, white. I was right. I can't remember the last time I even held a Rubik's Cube. Rubik's Cubes are fucking awesome. Really cool, like, I'd say, like, I don't know if there's any studies done, but I wouldn't be surprised to learn that, like, people who solve Rubik's Cubes, like, quicker and quicker and quicker, or, like, in more higher difficult levels or some shit like that, like, I wouldn't be surprised if that, like, has a positive effect on your neural plasticity or some shit like that, where, like, it makes you quicker at processing info or some shit, like, because, like, a Rubik's Cube, like, the whole idea of, like, I need this color to get here, I need this color to get here, I need to go, like, left, right, up, down, left, right, down, 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 right, right, left, left, like, it's like, that's like picking a lock, you know? That's one thing that I always wanted to get into, was, like, lock picking. And not to, like, obviously, like, be a criminal or whatever, but, like, the art of lock picking is just fascinating, because it's like reverse clockmaking. It's like somebody makes a really intricate machine. It's like a puzzle. That's what it is. It's like a puzzle, you know? I love those wooden puzzles, you know, those, like, they're in the shape of, like, a cat lying down or something, and it's like a wooden puzzle that you need to, like, figure out how to, like, pull it apart and then put it back together. I fucking love that shit. There's some deep esoteric knowledge contained in those things, where it's like form and function, and, like, appearances can be deceiving, and all this shit, like, and forward thinking, and what's it called, linear thinking, where you, like, what's the definition of linear thinking, where, like, you just, like, don't overthink something, just, like, fucking A plus B equals C kind of thing, like, or A then B then C. Is that, I remember hearing a thing like that, like, what's linear thinking is like, or critical thinking is like being able to get to C without B. Like, you have A and you can get to C, or something like that. I can't remember. I'm not. I sound like a retard right now. About 10 hours, everyone bailed except the Bandit and I. Faggots. Who bailed? Who was supposed to go and who bailed? Hoping at least a few show up, seeing how much work BB put in. Well, I mean, a fucking... How tall are you again? Like 6'3" or something? Like 6'5"? I mean, you could show up on your own, and at least that's another, like, fairly big bloke to be able to do a load of shit, like, you know? Who bailed, though? Faggots. They should be shamed. They should be named and shamed. There is a pattern to use to solve it quickly. Yeah, but that would be from... Wouldn't that be from a certain setup? Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is just, like, the meta algorithm to a Rubik's Cube. You don't pay attention to the colors. You just pay attention to the moves. That makes sense. Yeah. Because there's so many yeah, that makes sense, actually. That's really like profound. You don't pay attention to the colors, you pay attention to the moves. Where it's like you don't pay attention to the identity, you pay attention to the behavior. That's profound. Or maybe I'm probably using profound in the wrong context here. That's very interesting or something. I don't know, like, very revelatory. Don't pay attention to the colors, pay attention to the moves. Like, so, like that, like, it really is true where they said, like, you know, those who haven't found God aren't looking low enough. Like, something as benign and as common as a Rubik's Cube or a pool table or like a snooker table or something, they have such profound esoteric knowledge written into the very makeup of what they are, you know. I love snooker. I fucking love snooker. Like, pool's cool and all, but it's like, pool is like the ghetto degenerate version of snooker. Snooker is a gentleman's game. Snooker is a nobleman's game. It requires patience, forward thinking, like grace, accuracy, like all of these things that like most people don't have, you know. Like to be really good at snooker, you like it's like being really good at a martial art or something. Like it takes dedication. There's an art to snooker, because there's like it's mathematics, it's geometry. It's like shooting a bow. You know, it requires like mechanical. That's why I said grace. Like it requires like you can't just like whack the ball. Like you can't just like really violently like skewer the fucking cue ball with the stick. Like, you know, like there's players that can like, you know, put a lot of force behind a shot, but only when you're like accurate enough to be able to like hit the dead center of it. And like even then it's like the more power you put on the cue ball, the more power is transferred to the ball that the cue ball, or the balls that the cue ball hits. And when you scale up the power, you scale up the reaction, and when you scale up the reaction, it's harder to predict, you know. And it also like it's a variable that like it's also when you scale up the power, it's harder to hit accurately. That's the important thing, is the accuracy, then the speed, and once the accuracy and speed are achieved, the power comes, you know. Maybe that's like a mantra that I should apply to my art these days. Is like speed and accuracy, and then the power will come. Because I started my painting journey with like the most basic shit, and the thing that I got quite good at quite quickly was making them look sharp, you know. I did it on foam board, so there was no texture, and I did them with fully saturated colors, so again there was no like, it's not really what would you call it, like kind of texture, but like no, they were block, they were solid block, like solid block saturated colors, so there was no like room for interpretation really, in terms of like there was no cloudiness or like fade or blending going on. It's just like sharp. I'm kind of going back to that at the moment. Like I have a plan at the moment. I did a symmetrical there the other day. Looks pretty cool. It looks pretty cool. It came out pretty cool. It's very like alien looking. And it's a long one. It's a long, slim one, which I haven't done a lot of them. And I'm going to do it 3 times in 3 different colours. Don't ask me why. Well, I know why. It's like your one from the gallery gave me like really high quality paper, but it's very textured. So in that sense, it's not what I would pick to paint on. She's basically challenging me, you know, because she probably noticed the style of my other symmetricals, that is just like no texture, no shading, just 2D abstract block saturated color shapes, and it's all about the geometry and the layering, where it's like this color and this shape is on top of that color and that shape, and it like gives it the appearance of looking 3D without it actually having the properties of kind of like a blueprint, you know. Like you look at a blueprint and it's like of a mech or something. It's like it looks 3D, but it's not. It's just lines on a page. But because of the way the lines are organized, your eye gets lied to. It's like, I was thinking this the other day. I was making dinner, and I was like, can't remember what I was listening to. Was it the Old World Florida thing? I can't remember. I was like, I'm a con man. Like, that, in a sense, that's literally what I am. I'm a con artist. Because I lie to your eyes. You know, like, I don't know if a con man is just like, you know, like, because there's confidence trickster, and then there's con man. But the typical way that a con man is used is you can, if you just spent the last few minutes trying to find it and you can't. Thank you. She just comes in. I give up. It's like, on what? What the fuck? Yeah, I'm like, like, I'm a con man. I lie to your eyes, and you enjoy it. Like, think about how like that's what an artist does. And like, a good artist is a con artist. We lie to your eyes, and you love it. You love having your eyes lied to. How crazy is that? Because that's what it is. It's like, there isn't a fucking shark in the water. You know, that like, there are not 5 squids, like, and a rat island in front of you. That is paint on a page. Like, literally speaking, this is not what your eyes are telling you it is. Like, that's fascinating. You know what I mean? Like, that's so fascinating, where it's like, this is a lie. Like, I'm lying to you right now. You know, like, that's what I like. Moral quandaries, like, moral questions like that are fascinating, because like, is that why the Bible and the Quran and all is like, you know, no graven images and shit like that? It's like is certain art, like, is art, like, was there a time where art was incredibly like, the rules to creating art were like really strict, because they had to be, because you couldn't lie to people's eyes, like, in a sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, does that mean that, like, if somebody just puts a line on a canvas, like, of one color, like, is that why they see it as like, oh my god, it's so profound? Oh my god, it's so, like, it's so intense, because it is what it is. It's not a lie. Like, it's just a line of blue paint on a canvas. Oh my god, it's so profound. Like, it's like, meanwhile, somebody paints like an incredibly photorealistic picture of, like, the statue of David in, like, Chinatown as a background or something, and they're like, it's so passé, like, it's so, it's just not avant-garde, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, are you serious? Like, this is fucking incredible looking, like, the detail, the lighting, the texture, the fucking shading, the shapes, like, this is an incredibly sophisticated lie, you know? Like, and it's like, yeah, but it's a lie, though. That's not actually a painting of David in Chinatown. This artist is conning you. Like, is that actually, like, is that an indicator of my level of intelligence, is that I can hold those two positions simultaneously? Like Owen says, where it's like, you can argue the other side from an intellectual standpoint. You can put yourself in the other perspective and argue from that perspective, and then use your free will to choose what perspective you think is objectively more real, you know? Because like I said, like I'm a retard, man. Like, I'm very ignorant. I'm barely educated. Do you know what I mean? Like I went through school, but like, for like, definitely the last like 4 years of school, like, I didn't give a fuck. I didn't pay attention, like, which I think is actually a good thing. But like, in a lot of ways, it was a bad thing. Like, do you know what I mean? You could easily make the argument that if I'd have just like, if I'd have been more emotionally disciplined and stable, and just like worked hard and got a good job and all this stuff, like, then loads of things in my life would be different. Would they be better, in quotes? I don't know. Who knows? You know. I was listening to Owen's stream there the other day, and he said, "Cause you know," or something like, you know, like, cause then you know, don't I know? Like he said, like, you know, or I know, like 3 times in a row, but like it made sense, like, because of what he was talking about. I couldn't stop laughing when I heard it. It was so fucking funny. I need to get my shit together and fucking get some money together so I can get on Ladle TV and Bartaria Times. I barely even had the money to fucking buy tape there the other day. Like, seriously, need to get my shit together. Like, that reminds me, actually, I'd like. I think I'm gonna be going to Pruners at the end of the month to work for him for a week, doing some gardening shit. He said I could come down for like the whole week and work for him and shit, and he'd pay me and shit. Like, so, definitely not gonna turn that down. I love doing stuff like that, like proper, just like primal manual labor shit. Like, it's why I didn't mind working in warehouses. Alex, yes, move that. Okay, where'd you want it? And like sometimes, like some boxes would be incredibly difficult to move. You know, like if you're picking up a box that's like your full wingspan, so you can only grip it with like your fingers, and you have to like pull it into yourself, so that you can actually like lift it and grip it and stuff, and it weighs like 15 kilograms, you know, 30 pounds or something, but you're holding it like this, and you have to like walk like this and stuff, and you have to carry it like 150 feet to the other end of the warehouse or something. Like some shit is really difficult to move, even though it's not that heavy. It's just the shape of it and stuff. Now, I used to find that fascinating, where like you could pick, like, take like a cannonball, for example, like, you know, like the way you would lift a cannonball, you'd be like kind of cupping it and all, like, because it's like really dense and heavy, because it's made out of fucking, were they all made out of lead? Fucking, I don't know what they, like, no, because they had steel shot as well, but wasn't that typically much smaller, like a shotgun kind of style thing? Or were they iron? I wouldn't be fucking surprised if they had some iron cannonballs. They probably didn't make them out of lead, because lead is like, well, when did we learn lead was poisonous? When was that like common knowledge? That was like only in the last like couple of 100 years, wasn't it? Because of all the lead in people's hats and lead in pencils and stuff like that, and they started using graphite instead. But you see, like, Stabru knows exactly what I'm talking about, because he works in a warehouse. I know you'd be mainly driving a forklift, but like some things can be light in terms of their weight, but incredibly difficult and awkward to maneuver because of their shape and size, you know? Like, I remember we were packing a truck one day when I was working for the Irish Ferry Door Foundation, or whatever they were called, Irish Ferry Door Company Foundation. We were packing a truck, and the boxes are really light because it's just full of like ferry doors that are inside boxes, and like it's like the boxes are mainly air. Like the most common form of like density in the box is fucking like air, right? So they're incredibly light, but they're like really big because of the amount of boxes with doors in them that fill each box. Like, so each box was like 2.5 to 3 foot by 2.5 to 3 foot, like. So you couldn't, like, you could barely actually grab the whole thing, you know? And then if you were to do it from the sides, like, there's no handles because they're just flat pack, you know? So, like, they're really easy to pick up because they're light. But when you do that, like, 300 times, you know, like, even that small amount of resistance, it's the difference between light weights, high reps, and like high weight or heavy weight and low reps. You know, it's like six of one, half a dozen of the other. It's like depending on your strength and mobility. It's like way more difficult for you to do 100 reps of 8 kilos in a certain form than to pick up like 80 kilos and just do it once, you know? And that all depends on like, you know, your joint health and like the connective tissues and muscles and stuff like that. Like if they aren't like really, if you don't have a strong mind muscle connection and like good form and posture and shit, and you go to pick up something that's like really heavy, even though you're strong in certain areas, like, and you go to just like lift something up, that's how you put your back out, like, you know, because like certain parts of your body are like, we're not ready, you know, like like don't do it that way. I find stuff like that, like the biomechanics of like the human body are fascinating, like the way our muscles are positioned and shaped and like our bones and stuff like that. And then you look at something like the way everybody has a spiral on the top of their head, and that's how your hair, like that's what your hair grows from, is like that initial spiral and stuff, like, and it's the same spiral that is your, like, well, not the same, but it's like a similar thing, and that's what makes your fingerprints. It's fascinating, like like all the stuff that they didn't really talk about in school or go deep into is the most fascinating shit ever. Like, do you know what I mean? Like when I did art in secondary school, and they never spoke about like the Fibonacci sequence and the golden ratio and like patterns and like geometry and like how light works and all this shit. It was just reading books that were just expositions like of boring nonsense and dates about artists that are long dead. Like, do you know what I mean? It was like, so in 1762 fucking blah 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 painted the Caravaggio blah 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 blah, and like it's just like, and they didn't even turn around and be like, you know, and he used specifically these oils and these brushes and he did that because of these reasons. Like, they didn't teach us about the mirror technique where they could do photorealistic shit using a fucking lens and stuff. Like, they didn't teach us any of that. And that's all the stuff that you need to know what art is and how to do it, you know? It's the same with every fucking subject in school. It's like, they just went, so these are mountains and these are volcanoes and like that's a river and we, like, you know, water moves like this and that's how you get a bank, and like, you know, they didn't actually go into like of course they didn't, because they'd have to be honest. Like, they'd be like, so we don't actually know how half of this shit works. It's like, what? What do you mean you don't? Aren't you the grown-ups? It's like, yeah, but like nobody, like, even gravity, like, do you know what I mean, is like a theory and shit. Like, like in that sense, I understand why school is the way it is now, because of scale. You know, it's like, okay, so how do we give like the most basic form of information to the most amount of people in an efficient manner? We'll just turn it into the military. You know, make them all wear the same uniform, teach them all the same shit, boil it all down to the basics, like, you know. And at one point it probably still worked, like, but now we're at a stage where it's like utter nonsense, you know. It's like, you might have been born in the wrong body. We don't know if we're going to have to cut your cock off in a few years and give you tits, you know. Simon might be Sarah. We just, like, who knows? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, saying that beauty is in the eye of the beholder and it's all subjective and shit. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. That's why I love Vox so much. I love the way Vox is just like, no, this is the truth. And these are the reasons why we can say confidently that this is the truth. Because we have this evidence and this primary source and this and this. And it's like, oh, it's just such a bastion of like cathartic, just this cathartic knowing of like, he's like telling you what you already knew and telling you that it's okay to know that. Like, you know what I mean? Because the amount of times I've looked at something ugly and I've been like, ugh, you know, especially in the art world, and they're like, oh, this artist is expressing, you know, his like blah 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 blah. Like they did that in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where that fucking gallery owner, turns out she's not even a gallery owner. Like her parents like rent it out for her, you know, which is like an even more hilarious like point in the script and the writing of that character. But it's like, the artist spent like 3 years in the Congo with like, you know, slave children and all and blah blah. And the paintings are like, they're not even like to the level of a child's cave drawing from 10,000 BC. Like it's just utter shit, like, and they're just like fucking fawning over it, like, and drooling over it, like it's just the best thing ever, and it's just incredibly. It's such a profoundly disrespectful thing to do to the people who came before us, who built incredibly beautiful things that not only were incredibly beautiful but served an incredibly beautiful purpose, you know? It's such a profound fuck you to all the people that came before us and like suffered and tried and died and all this fucking shit, just to be like, oh, you can be anyone, and like God is like, you know, what is God and what is a woman and all this. Like it's so obvious now that it's like this fucking cynical, sadistic, slithering, sycophantic show. Like, just all the S's you could do. Like, it's such a fucking disgrace. It really is, like, to such a, to like on a biblical level, it's a disgrace. But it is really cool realizing that, like, it's fairly obvious that the choice is like, so you can choose to like go with that stuff and like lose yourself, which is really funny that Eminem's song was called Lose Yourself. You've got one chance. It's now, like, you know, like I can almost guarantee you that if I go back and look at all the lyrics from Eminem songs, I'll be like, this is a demon. Like, think about how fucked up that is and how untrue that is. You've got one shot. This is your shot. This is your shot, kid. Don't fuck it up. That's not true. Because that implies that you have to get whatever it is. Like, not only do you have to get it right, but it has to be perfect. And it has to be perfect at like some kind of arbitrary time in an arbitrary place in front of an arbitrary number of people. And if you fuck up, and if it doesn't go, in quotes, right, then you're a failure. And your life is over. Like, you've ruined it now. Like, oh, the golden road is like never gonna, you'll never be able to walk down it again, and all this fucking shit. That is such a fucked up mental brainwashing psyopy thing to do to someone. Because the reality is like, if you try and fail every day, that's actually how you succeed. This whole thing of like, you know, you've got one shot. No, you don't. Every day is your shot. Every day is like an opportunity to do whatever it is God is calling you to do. Oh, but what is God? It's kind of like undeniable that like there is some kind of unifying force, you know? But which God though? It's like, oh man, like it's, I don't know. That's the honest question. Like that's the honest answer to that question is like, I don't know. And that is so profoundly fucked up that we live in a time where kids and young people and people like me who grew up in the way I grew up, it's like, yeah, but why though? Because of this. Yeah, but why though? Because of this. Okay, well, why that then? Stop asking questions. It's like, the only person who would get annoyed at a child for asking questions is somebody who doesn't know or somebody who knows they're lying. You ask too many questions. What does that mean? You're too curious? You're too curious. You know how fucked up that is to do to a kid? Stop asking questions. You know? That's so fucked up, like. If you don't know, admit it. You know? If you don't know, you know? Like 6'3". I thought you were 6'5". Betrayer! That will be fun for you. After helping Savage Bear move last week, I learned how fun it is working with bears. Yeah, I've done it before, just not for a week. I went down like with Bravey Bear one time and gave him a hand. I think it was last year at one point. Might have been the year before. I can't fucking remember now. But I love doing it. I love that shit. Love it. No bitching, just hard work and gravy talk. So great. Yeah, I fucking can't get enough of it, man. I love just like chopping stuff and moving stuff and lifting stuff and shit and all, and like, but I am like that. Like, if I have to do all that in silence, it kind of sucks. Like only a little bit, because like I'm still talking to myself and in my head typically, especially if I'm on my own. But intense manual labor while talking to people is like one of my favorite things. I think it's one of the reasons I love doing this, because like if I'm like painting and thinking and there's tunes going and I look at chat and then there's like a conversation going and all, like it's one of my favorite vibes. Part of me has been thinking recently that like I might start streaming even more when I get the time to, like, or not even the time to, the opportunity to, where like I'll stream for as long as I possibly can stream for, and like we'll do everything to like have a rant like this that's like 2 hours and 36 minutes long, which is fucking crazy. Or like I'll do a PEINTEINGU and play tunes, and then like, you know, if I want to switch gears or if I need to get up for a minute and like stretch or like let the blood run back into my ass cheeks, I could just like put up a thing that says back in 5 or something, or just keep I just keep the music going and leave the painting there, and I'd be back in a few minutes. But then like switch gears and do a symmetrical for a bit or something, you know, or even break them up throughout the day, where it's like, right, I'm gonna do a morning stream and an evening stream or some shit, like, because there's no reason why I shouldn't stream all the stuff that I do. You know, because then you guys would get to see me do my character design stuff, and then you'd also get to see me like design a symmetrical and shit, like, and I could do it in like different formats and stuff and all, like, you know, and especially now that I have the web camera that I can move around and it's like decent enough visually, that provides me with the opportunity to, like, I could put the camera behind me or something and like have the thing in front of me so that I can draw accurately, especially when doing a symmetrical, and I can put you guys just over like my left shoulder or some shit, so you can watch me draw the thing and then fill it in, like, you know. But we'll see, you know, like, that's what I was saying to Iron Man Bear there the other day, is like I'm getting better at like not being a dick to myself. I'm getting better at like letting go of what my father kind of turned me into, where like it has to be this and it has to be that and blah blah blah. Like I have let perfectionism get in the way of goodism for far too long, you know. It's blatantly obvious to me now, and I've proved it like time and time again, that like people like my work, so I'm just going to do my work and share it, like all of it, all the time, as much as possible. Obviously that doesn't mean that I'm not going to do PEINTEINGUs and stuff like that. Like, if anything, it means that like you're going to get more PEINTEINGU, but it's not going to be all a Japanese demigod fucking talking a load of shit while he paints something. It's going to be loads of stuff. But anyway, I said ages ago that I was going to stick tunes on and fucking do this shit. So, where's this stuff? Funky Fridays. I'm pretty sure I have another funk thing there instead of the one that I was playing there the other day. But I can't remember where I put it. Is it this one? Yeah, it's giving me that thing again. I'm just exit out of it. Fuck off. It appears you're using an ad blocker. I'm not using an ad blocker. Brave is. Take it up with Brave. Fuck you, YouTube. You gay Nancy shower of fucking cunts. We make money off of ads. You can't block ads. Fuck off. You make more than enough money on fucking everything. And it's not just ads, you fucking scheming cunts. Oh, phone's gonna die. My mammy commented on my painting. It's always so hilarious when me ma calls me son. It's like, she never calls me that. That looks amazing. Well done, son. It's like, you never call me son. What's wrong with you? I'm gonna reply, thanks, mother. That looks amazing. Well done, son. That's just you know when you see somebody online and they say something and it's like, you don't talk like that. Like, what are you doing? Like, my son is here, can see but can't chat. Well, tell him I said hello. Right. What we do? I'll do the cue ball first, and no, we'll like I'll stick to my rules. I'll go high then low. Part of me wants to do a bit more work on the big squid, but I suppose he looks okay. Like, the squids look good, but like they could look better, you know, kind of thing. Fuck it, I'll just start off with the Rubik's Cube. Like, just, I'm getting in the way again. I'm getting in the way again. Okay. What's it? It's 9. Isn't it? It's like 3 by 3. It's 3 by 3, isn't it? I need to plug this phone in. I suppose I don't really. I could just like look up shit on the laptop. This isn't funky. Don't get me wrong, like, it's nice. It's literally called Bushido Beats, so it makes sense. But it's not funky. I want the funk. It's Friday. I want the funky shit. Where's the... That's hard techno. That's not funk. There was... I could have sworn I had one there. Oh, there we go. Yeah. I knew I had one there. Yeah! This one, as far as I remember, this one's good. It might have some shit parts in it. Your maternal parenting unit is very supportive. What was it we were talking about the other day? When, like, we were talking about something similar there the other day, wasn't it? Something about resources and shit and females. I can't remember. I need to look it up. That's like the same thing we were talking about. Where it's like... Oh, what was it? It was something to do with you and your missus. It was like a weird like privacy thing where I'm like, is it okay for me to say her name? Do you care? Will she care? Like, you know, would she be pissed if I talk about her on the stream? Oh yeah, it was about her knowing how to use her resources and stuff. What was it? Yeah, good evening, madam. How may this one be of resource to you this evening? Well, that was in a movie. That was in a movie. The one of the characters refers to themselves as this one. That was in a movie. I can't remember what it was though. This one is blah blah blah. He refers to himself as like one of many. This one is angry. This one wonders if you might help or if you might need help or something. Can't remember what it was from. How may this one serve you? Super creepy. Super fucking creepy. The people of the hive. What am I looking for? Oh yeah, messages. That's what I'm looking for. That makes me laugh so much now. Every time I like people of the hive, I keep thinking of the Anchorman part where it's like, you know what they call bat in Mexico? Chicken of the cave. And then I think he said, is it in the outtakes or something where he's like, you know what they call a cat? It's like chicken of the railroad or something. Like, it's fucking... That's literally how I see these people now. I'm like, so you're of the hive. People of the hive. That's what I think was like subconsciously like speaking through me or something, or trying to speak through me like with that painting, the Heart of the Hive. And I wasn't going to call it Heart of the Hive. I was going to call it Hive or something, or just like, you know, something real even simpler. But one of my friends saw the paint, like I shared the painting with him, and he was like, "Oh dude, it kind of looks like a heart." And I was like, Heart of the Hive. The Heart of the Hive. It sounds like something you'd have to do in a video game or a movie, like, you know, where it's like the heart of the hive lies deep within, you know, the city. Deep within the city, in the center of a tower. Fucking 30 floors high, protected by guards, sophisticated locking systems, and all this fucking shit, like. And then you finally get in there, and it's just this, like, really old, decrepit, like, diseased, rotten, tiny black heart that's, like, barely pumping, you know? It's just, like, it's barely beating. Like, once every 6 months, it goes, like, like... You call that a heart? Like, that would fit, like, do you know what I mean? Like, because you would expect, you're like the heart of the hive, like, do you know what I mean? The hive is like this, like, globally expansive fucking consciousness that's like fucking terrifying and manipulative and all this like demonic shit and all, like. And the hero has to go kill the heart of the hive, and he finally gets past all the defenses, all the enemies, all the bosses, all this shit. He finally gets to the heart of the hive, and it's just this pathetic fucking tiny black heart that barely beats. Like, you call that a heart? Like, what the fuck? I've seen sheep with bigger hearts. Of course it would be pathetic. It makes sense. Right, so yeah, it's 3x3. It's a 6, yeah, it's got 6 sides, and then it's broken down into 9. 6 and 9, 3x3. The cube. Saturn's cube. The Xbox. Man, symbolism's fucking mental. Anyway. Enough esoterica. Let's do some paintingu. Okay, if I'm gonna be like nice and accurate about this, give me that bitch. Give me the skinny bitch. Alright, we got green, yellow, red. That's scarlet, but it's red. It'll do. There's no... Oh no, there is a blue. I was like, there's no blue. There is a blue. What kind of blue? Ultramarine's a bit too blue for that. Blue compose. Yeah, that's pretty close. Might have to darken it up a bit, but that'll work. Blue compose will work. Man, sky blue is the best blue. I don't have any sky blue left. So green, yellow, orange. Orange, and then white. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. Right. Do orange first. 'Cause I'm a ginger. Oh, nice. It's like I can like see it in my peripheral vision how the light changes. 'Cause there's two windows in this room, so there's actually a lot of light coming into this room. So like I can see it in my peripherals when it like gets darker when it rains and all. I love that. It's like the mood changes or something. I'm losing frames. Hold on. I'm gonna take the exposure off of auto so we don't lose frames. That's fine where it is. Yeah. Much better. You gotta start making your own video games. Your ideas are so cool and unique. Ah, thanks, man. Oh, look at you flattering a nigga. I'd love to, man. I'd fucking love to make a video game. I've always wanted to do that. Fucking hate coding though. Man, I don't even like reading that much. Like, you know, coding. Ugh. If I need to find a coder. That's what I need. Like if I could build a team of like a programmer, like a programmer and like a fucking I'd want an artist like far superior than to me to do like the concept shit now. Obviously I would enjoy doing it myself, but like I'd want the art to be like incredible. Like, do you know what I mean? I would accept the role of... That's how you know I'm not artistically like egotistical. Is like I would step back and be like, no, you can actually do a better visual representation of like what my ideas are than I can. Because I would just like look for artists and be like, yeah, you have the technical skill to like produce what I can like communicate to you, like. Because, man, there's some concept artists that work for game design companies that, like, you see their stuff and you're just like, what the fuck? Like, how are you that good? Like, it's crazy. It's getting quite dark in here. I think Tactical Turtles would be like an incredible video game. Oh shit, way too bright. I think Tactical Turtles would be a really good video game. Like on par with like Gears of War. Gears of War was huge. It's kind of fallen off these days. But Gears of War was fucking huge online as far as a multiplayer shooter goes. And I think I could make Tactical Turtles that big. Like when I see it in my head as like a third person over the shoulder shooter with like all these different turtles you can pick from and customize and design the arenas where they fight in. And did I ever spill the beans on what they were fighting? I don't think I did, because that has kind of like, I get so many ideas that like some of them end up taking a back seat for like weeks or months. But I have to be practical and, you know, intelligent about what I'm doing, because like I can make money doing what I'm doing and doing what I'm capable of doing. What I'm not capable of doing right now is like designing a game, you know. So one day, like I know I can feel it, like one day I'll do something like that, like even if it's like actually like a physical game, like a board game, and not like a video game, you know? Because I think Tactical Turtles could work as like a board game as well. Part of me is like, will I cheat and do a solved Rubik's Cube and then I only have to pick 3 colors? Like, nah, fuck that. Being lazy. Like, it'd be kind of cool though for the squid to be like, look what I did. You know, like he's holding a solved Rubik's Cube. But like, I don't want to be lazy. Oh, that was a bellowing one. Let me see. It was fucking. So if there's 6 colors, 9 squares. How many of a color? I'm like confusing the fuck out of myself right now. My brain. So like, I'll do blue. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do this a few times to like fix the... I made these too big. These are too big. If I'm gonna fit 9 and 9 fucking... See, this is why part of me was like, should I grid it off first with the black lines and then put the colours in? But I think it'll look cleaner if I do it this way. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. You did not reveal the adversary of the turtles. Good. Excellent. I'm not going to. Some beans must not be spilled. They are for eating, not for spilling. Those beans are for eating, not for spilling. Or not even eating, cooking. You need to cook with those beans. Can't spill them.
Nobody
God. I have like all this trapped air in me now from all the talking I did. I think that's so funny that like that warning comes up where it's like, it appears you're using ad blocker. You're not allowed to do that. And it's like, you just exit out of it. It's like, fuck off. Eventually, like, I can imagine, like, eventually, like, you know, I'll be on video 1,000 or something, and YouTube will be like, right, fuck off, you little shit. Like, okay. Bye, YouTube. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if that never happens to me now. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, by the time I get even, like, a few thousand subscribers and I'm, like, you know, making decent money off of, like, what I'm doing and then maybe some YouTube revenue or some shit like that, like, I wouldn't be surprised if all the shit has already, like, the script has flipped and, like, honestly wouldn't be surprised if by the time I get big, I get huge because the script is flipped. And then, like, I'll just start, like, telling everybody to go to Owen. Like, you need to go to owenbenjamin.com and fucking pay your gateway. Like, I'll, like, anyone who wants to buy a painting at that stage, I'd be like, the only way you're getting a painting out of me is if you go to Owen Benjamin. Like, just, like, funnel people towards the... Obviously, that's probably not a good idea. It's like, send a load of newbies into the bear community and then you'll have to ban a load of them because they turn out to be fucking assholes. Oh. It's stuff like that where I'm like, I'm always like, I'll think about it and then I'm like, we'll see what happens. Because you like, you have to, like a ship, you know, sailing, like you have to constantly adjust your heading, you know? Because like, the ground beneath you is shifting and shit and like, there's like storms and like icebergs and like fucking monsters and shit, like, you know, so like shallows and stuff and all, whirlpools, you know, so like you can't just go straight, you know. You might be able to for like long periods of time, but like there will come a period where you have to like go, oh shit, and like go around something. So you like to constantly reassess. Which is fun, you know. Who doesn't like being at the helm of a ship, you know? It's like if you, like, some little Ghana turned around to me and was like, you just want to be king, don't you? It's like, I prefer captain, you know? I think I'd make a decent captain of a small vessel. You know? Like, I don't want to be king. I want to be captain of a ship. Have a small, trusted crew, you know, like. Years from now, when there's a PEINTEINGU mutiny, you just see me and like you lot just like getting on the fucking escape boats and be like, right, fuck, bail, like. Definitely gonna have to adjust the sizes of these, but whatevs. We'll get there. What do you call a black squid? A squigger? All black squids are not squiggers. Only the ones who prematurely squirt their ink. Is that? No, squids and octopuses do that, yeah. Because there's stuff called squid ink. For a second there I was like, that's not squids, it's octopuses, you fucking... Or octopi. It's octopussy! Painting. I feel like I'm playing Tetris with the colors on a Rubik's Cube. Painting. Excuse me. Some funky shit. You know, it just makes me laugh imagining Margie, like, you know, just like freaking out to the music that's on PEINTEINGU. This shit's super fun! like shooting pistols and shit, like. Just this hilariously, like, legendary old lady, like. Nearly there. Nearly there. I'm gonna do the phrase of the day after I set up the colours. I can feel you telepathically reminding me. Desmond-sama. We have you to ourselves, Margio-sama. It is an honor. Oh, excuse me. Ooh, it sounded like your man from Minecraft there. Right, time for the phrase of the day. Tobias, my feathery friend. Shall we? I wonder if Defender is going to get pissed off when he realizes that I've been dinging his dong all week. And how funny would that be if, like, it turned out that I actually had, like, a twin brother who was like... We should do that. We should try, like, I'll try and, like... I'll try and make it like I'll try and play the two off each other, where it's like when I'm not wearing the costume, if I'm not wearing any costume, I'm the janitor, and then if I'm wearing a costume, I'm that character, you know, like fucking. I was about to say like Alex Roach like isn't a character on PEINTEINGU, but like I may as well just be the janitor, because like who's the fucking janitor then? Like fucking Hef, like just fucking Hef, like Jeff. But then it wouldn't make any sense because I don't sound Mexican. Oh fuck. Anyway, right, today's phrase of the day. This is my hand to Hef. Your what? How did you murk your phone, Ma? How did you murk your phone? How did that happen? Did you drop a weight on it or something? Did you realize that, like, were you trying to lift something heavy and you like realize that you're a bitch and then you just like threw your phone at the wall? Like, you try to lift it. You try to lift a weight and you're like, fucking Jonathan. Who's home? Let me see what's going on here in the what's going on in the Legends chat. Since they're all working together, it would be so bad. Interesting. What's this? Who's calling themselves dangerous? What is going on here? I just stumbled into a lot of drama in the Legends chat. What's going on here? Who the fuck? What's going on? Is it? Oh, am I mistaken? It's not drama. They're just talking about some loser. I don't know. I'm getting distracted. I'm getting distracted by being like, who's talking shit? Where am I? Yeah. Today's phrase of the day. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what I figured happened. I dropped a weight on it post set. Forgot where it was. Yeah. I wonder how often that happens in gyms these days. People dropping the weight on their phone. I'd say that happens quite often. What did you drop on it? Like, did you drop like a fucking like a stupid weight on it? Like, did you like a 15-kilo dumbbell or something? Like, just like boom, instantly murdered the thing. Like, or did you like were you like squatting like 200 kilos and then like? Well, I suppose you'd be racking it then. Were you deadlifting 200 kilos? that wouldn't make any sense though, would it? If you were deadlifting it and then you dropped it on the phone, that would mean that somebody like slid your phone in while you had it, while you lifted the weight. That'd be something I'd do. Like, just get a selfie stick and just like push your phone forward as you deadlift, so that when you put the phone down, it just like destroys your phone. Put the weight down, it just destroys your phone. I lie. I've never done anything like that to like fuck with someone. I'm not like, I'm a fool. I'm not a trickster. Yeah, like I am that polarity of that archetype. I'm the fool, not the trickster. I'm silly and I'm funny, and I see shit like, and I notice things, but like I'm not like, I don't fuck with people. I've known tricksters. They're fun. They're fun. But like when they do like, I don't like certain pranks. Certain pranks are like fucked up. Like, I kind of get where Owen is coming from, where he's like, I don't like, what's the prank where it's like you like scare people, where it's like fear pranks. Like, yeah, no, you know. Kind of pranks I don't like are like, you know, the ones that are just blatantly stupid, where it's like you're intentionally like aggravating someone, or like making like a potential like what seems like a threat or something, or an insult, and then like they go to like kick your head in, and you're like, oh, it's a prank, bro. It's just a prank, bro. It's just a prank, bro. Those are the ones I fucking hate. Like, it was an 80-pound dumbbell. I was doing a bench press. Yeah, I could totally see it. I could totally see it. That's hilarious. Your poor phone. Your poor phone. Right. Today's phrase of the day. I forgot how fucking like. Never mind. Just do it. Yeah, serious. Be serious. Be serious enough to execute the thing. Today's phrase of the day. Never let your messenger pigeon spot for you while lifting heavy stones. It is a bird-brained idea. I love the way, like, upon reading that, like, you know, like when I was thinking about it earlier, I was like, does that mean that, like, you're talking from the perspective of a bird? Never let your messenger pigeon spot you while lifting heavy stones. It is a bird-brained idea. So, like, you're talking from the perspective of a pigeon who's like, oh my god, that would be the funny, like, not the funniest thing ever. How funny would that be if you did a little animation thing, or like, it wouldn't even need to be an animation. If you did a 3D painting of like a gym where they're all pigeons. That sounds like something Disney has done or something, or like Looney Tunes or something. Like, I'd love to do a little animation where there's like a gym, but it's like they're all pigeons. Like, they all have that like derpy, soulless expression on their face, but they're like flexing and shit, like doing pull-ups and stuff. Like, all of that would make no sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so funny because it makes no sense. Like, why are pigeons like working out? Like, you know, they can fly. Like, you know, like, all these like buff pigeons. Like, how does that make them a better pigeon? Like, you know, would that equate to flying faster? I don't think it would, because like, you've got like extra mass on you now. Like, you know, like, sure, your wings are stronger, but like now you're heavier. Wouldn't that cancel itself out? Like there's a reason birds weigh like a few grams on average, because like, birds have like hollow bones, don't they? At least like a lot of birds, most species of birds, I think, have like hollow bones. That's why birds are so like fragile. Even big birds, you know. Like a bird the size of like the harpy eagle is like the biggest bird, I think, apart from like a form of vulture now or something. It's probably not true. I mean, they say golden eagles are extinct now, but there's probably like loads of them hanging around. It's just they migrated away from all the gay that's in the place now. like how funny would that be? It's like, the blah 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 has been extinct for the last 50 years. The last known blah 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 was in a zoo in like Tanzania or something, and it's like, it's all lies. These animals aren't extinct. They've just left because this place is too gay. Like golden eagles and Tasmanian devils and like the dodo bird. Like, they've all been like, oh, fuck this, I'm out of here. This is way too gay. I don't know, fuck, I'm gone. Fuck this shit. Like, man, I'd well believe it. I'd well believe it. How funny would that be if you just see a load of dodo birds being like, right, I've had it, this place is lame and gay to the point where I just can't take it anymore, and they just pick up their little suitcases and start walking. Like, one of them whistles and a fucking submarine just like shows up on the coast. All the dodos get in the submarine and it just leaves. Man, somebody text that to Owen. I need to start texting Owen. Like, I've never spoken to the guy. I've been in the community for years and I've never spoken to the guy. And he's really easy to talk to. Oh, that's hilarious. I actually love the idea of Surrey Delta Bear turning around. I love the idea of you turning around to him and be like, Defender Bear says hi, and he's like, who? Like, oh, that just makes me giggle. It's like, I remember Papa fucking. Oh, sorry, give me a sec. I remember Papa J Bear turned around to me before and he was like, no, I'm pretty sure he's aware of you. And I was like, yeah, it's probably honestly, I've said this before, I wouldn't be surprised if the only reason Owen is aware of me is because people have been like, this one might be the next, like, you know, I mean, he's a painter, like, he used to watch Jim Bob, fucking, like, he's not really involved in the chats and stuff. Like, I don't know, he's kind of a lurker. Like, it's like, I hate all the, like, I hate and love chats. I don't like spending a lot of time texting. Unless it's like a thread. Like, do you know what I mean? Where it's like, you sit down for an hour and like we're all riffing on something. But typically I don't like doing that. Like, I like doing shit, like, you know. I'm one of those guys that always has Owen on in the background. I'm catching up on streams. I'm always like a few days behind. Usually just 24 hours, but now I'm way behind. And I always just have Owen on the background and I'm like doing something. I think that's why his stream is so valuable. Cause like I remember working in a warehouse in like way before COVID even. And even back then, the radio, the songs were shit. You got sick of the songs. You got sick of hearing the same shit. And then you got sick of the ads. And then you got sick of the government messaging of like, you know, just these corporate jargon, like government announcements and shit. I seen one on YouTube earlier, like this morning. So like our government is doing that thing where like by June 17th, all citizens of Ireland will be considered organ donors and you'll have to opt out of being an organ donor. Oof. That's such a... That feels like a trap. That feels like another data collecting thing where, like, you know, they're like, we'll tell everyone that, like, everyone's a donor now and the only way you can not be a donor is to opt out of it. But in the process of opting out of it, you have to, like, submit certain information that you wouldn't have submitted otherwise or something. I don't know. I just, like, I'm so skeptical and apprehensive of, like, anything to do with the government now, like, you know. And like part of me is like, well, I don't really have to worry about that, do I? Unless I end up like, you know, in a car crash and potentially brain dead. Like, you know, it's like, other than that, like, you know, like obviously you hear the horror stories of like, I went in for a routine checkup and then this happened, so they put me on, you know, an IV drip of blah blah blah, and like then they found this, and then they were like, oh, we just want to check this, and then the next thing you know, I'm going in for surgery because they think I have like, you know, terminal cancer or something, and then oh look, he's brain dead for 5 seconds. Right, harvest his organs. I mean, I've heard of the stuff they do in China where like a van shows up and it's like, you have been very naughty boy, get in the van. Like, No, no. Like, fuck that. Like, imagine it. Like, imagine going out like that. Like, getting dragged into a van and having like you get like you basically get put under anesthesia, and then like they just start cutting your organs out of you. Like, fucking horrifying job. Like, and it is. It's like I wouldn't be surprised if some of it is propaganda and some of it's true. You know, that's a really dark concept, though. How are we going to deal with our political dissidents? Accuse them of like capital crime punishable by execution, and then use the excuse of like an inflated system to make vans that can perform those executions like just at the side of a road or outside your house, and then we'll use that as a smokescreen to like, you know, really just what we're looking for is like people that we can just get rid of and harvest their organs, because like, you know, organs are like really hard to come by and expensive typically, because like, I mean, that's wild. Like, that's such a wild fucking thing that like is fairly obvious that it exists right now. Like, you think human trafficking is bad? It's like obviously it is. Like, human trafficking is bad, but like the whole idea of like a black market for organs, the whole idea of like people getting scammed and then like, you know, waking up in a bath with no kidneys and stuff, like fucking like crazy shit. Like, but now I'm of the mind of like here's one thing like that really clued me into that kind of it really is like how you live and how you think kind of thing, where Burn Bear is like, for me, is like the perfect example of that like we all kind of know and have like a bit of experience with, where it's like you have a bloke who just bitches and moans all the time, and then intermittently, you know, gets like a bit positive and like looks like he's like doing better or something like that, and then inevitably he's like, oh, and like spirals again. He like, I remember he was like, you know, he was telling me a story about how these guys came in and like fucked him up with a lock and a sock, and they like broke his arm and all. And I'm pretty sure I told the story before, but like it's so perfect. It's such a perfect example where it's like you have someone being like, yeah, like these guys did this to me and it was horrible and all. It's like, but why would, like, think about how you have to behave to be targeted by people like that who will behave like that. Like, it is all about your behavior. Like, you could use Burn Bear as that example. You could always use those, like, you know, poor unfortunate women that fucking... What's up? Do you need me to finish? Yeah, but, like, when I turned around to you earlier on, it was like you said you hadn't heard from Fanula. So... Okay. Do you want me to pack it in? I'm just chilling. So you're gonna answer the question? I think I need to go. The couple that we were hanging around with at the gallery when we were there, we're gonna meet up and like have a few drinks or go for a meal or something, which is exciting because we don't have. We've been here like 4 years now, and we don't have like friends in the area really. Like, you know, like she kind of does because of her job, but I don't really. I've been too busy just like in my hole, just like, you know, like a hermit, like fucking creating shit. Like, I've no interest in making friends. It's times like that where I'm like, would I be classed as a Sigma? Like, is that what that is? Like, should we fucking like... Like, I'm the type of dude to like figure out one of the days it's like that, like I'm going through some kind of like emotional stress or something, and it's like, dude, like, you haven't hung out with another human being in like 6 months. I was like, oh, maybe that's what it is. Like, I'm such a loner vampire type sometimes, where like I could get to a stage where I'm like, yeah, maybe I need some human contact. I don't know. Like it's like maybe it'd be good to like go talk to another human being. It's like Death Stranding. It's like, oh Christ. That means they can harvest you at will if you're hospitalized and don't opt out though. Yeah, I know. It's wild. It's fucking wild. But then like am I overthinking it? Like, you know, part of me is like I said, like is it a trick? Cuz like what's the process of opting out? What does that entail? You know, how do I opt out? What do they get out of me opting out? That's where my mind goes to, you know, which I think is a good thing for the most part. You know, I'm not trying to think like 6 moves ahead. I'm just thinking like 2 moves ahead, where I'm like, okay, they want this, but why though? You know, like, but like maybe that's just overthinking it. I don't know, like maybe I'm giving them too much credit. Like, you know, at this stage, it's just like, oh, excuse me. Screw that nonsense. Yeah, it's crazy. Oh, excuse me. Take care. Much love and God bless. You too, Margie. You can't leave and socialize. You're here for us. Oh, man. That doesn't even sound that bad to me. Like, I swear to God. Like, it's like, I'm used to this kind of vibe. You know, well, not specifically this kind of, well, like, cause I used to, my, like, you know, my vibe used to be like just me in my room with like 14 people, like, you know, at any given moment, playing music, playing video games, smoking it up and shit, like. So I'm used to just having a lot of peeps around me, like. It's hilarious. But anyway, yeah, right. I'm gonna head. It would appear that we now have plans, because I wasn't sure earlier on. They had like your one hadn't got back to the female, so but now apparently we have plans, which is good, you know. Anyway, lots of progress today. Yeah, you know, got a few squares of color on the Rubik's cube. Margie, I'm still here. Yeah, I figured you would be. Yeah, because like I read the take care, much love, and God bless, and I was like, she's saying that because I'm leaving. It's so funny. No, but yeah, I'm gonna go now. Right. Fucking pay for PEINTEINGU. If you don't, you're a fucking loser and you have no honor. I hope everybody has a glorious weekend. I'll see you Monday. Be good, be true, be beautiful. God bless. I'll talk to you soon. Right? Much love.